Here tonight for the Wildcat Network as we bring you Arvada West Wildcat football. The Wildcats 5-0 coming into this contest tonight, taking on one of their main rivals, the Bear Creek Bears at 4-1. The Bears in their green and gold, the Wildcats in the all-white with purple trim, and they are set to once again flip this coin, figure out who's going to do what, Eric, and this is going to be an interesting game. The Wildcats win the toss, they defer, they will kick off, and they'll put the hands into Justin Holland, the sophomore quarterback's hands early. Typical move by Dave Logan, though. He loves to win that toss and then defer because he likes to get the ball back to start the second half out. We're just moments away from this kickoff. We're moments away from a lot of excitement. You're going to see a big crowd on both sides of the field tonight. A typical game for Jefferson County when it comes down to these two teams. And I'm going to be honest with you. They don't like each other, never have liked each other, and there will be a few words exchanged out there in the middle of this field as well. And as I was alluding to a little bit ago, really turned into a beautiful evening tonight for a football game. It's not too cold. Winds pretty evenly blowing north to south out here, but, I mean, just a nice evening for football.
Let's get it on, as they say, huh?
Let's get ready to rumble. As we get ready for another one, they are going to play the national anthem right now, and we'll shut up and let you hear that right here on the Arvada West Wildcat Network. We are ready for some football. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups. The Arvada West Wildcats will be on defense, and up front they will bring left end, number 99, Robert Wunderlich, 6'4", 210-pound senior. On his inside, I should say, wearing number 90, left tackle Rob Morales. Morales at 5'11", 235, a junior. The other tackle wearing number 69, Joe Knight, 5'10", 200-pound junior. On the right end, number 33, Chris Chavez, as you see the Wildcats running out onto the field, 6'2", 195-pound junior. In the linebacking core, wearing number 5, Jeff Flora, 6'2", 220-pound senior. Number 50 is your middle linebacker, Ryan Palmer. He's 6'1", 240 pounds, a junior. And then number 51, your outside linebacker, Jaden McNeely, 6'1", 215, only a junior. In the backfield, cornerback Mike Duran. Duran was number 2, 5'9", 180 pounds, a junior. Back there, free safety, wearing number 3, Mr. Everything, Brad Pyatt, 6'1", 185, a senior. The strong safety wearing number 21, Tony Villas. Villas is 6'1", 185 pounds, a senior. And the cornerback on the opposite side wearing number 24 will be Jesse Brannon. Brannon 5'10", 160 pounds, and a senior. The Bear Creek offense will go as follows. A sophomore at quarterback wearing number 8, Justin Holland. His running back will be Hal Anderson wearing number 23, a junior. The fullback, Anthony Terry, a senior wearing number 40. A couple of wideouts for you, and a wideout slouch running back that's going to touch the ball a lot tonight. Craig Auckland, a senior wearing number 22. Dusty Lewis is a junior wide receiver wearing number 20. Their tight end wears number 44, Jeff O'Connor. He's a senior. He'll see the ball quite a few times this evening as well. Their front line, Matt Hale, Keith Martinez, Paul LaGuardia, Randy Kessler, and Joe Poppleton, all seniors. Pretty good-sized team, young at the skill positions. Their coach, Tom Thinnell, told me just moments ago that it will be difficult for them to hang with Arvada West. You kind of anticipate them saying that. Once again, this is a heated rivalry, and Eric, these guys are ready to kick this off, and we're ready to bring it to you. The Wildcats will be kicking into the south end zone, and let's get this one underway. You have Diaz and Hahn back to receive, and the big fella ready to kick this thing off, and if they get their hands on it, we'll let you know that Helgeson kicks it off. It's going to go into the end zone as per usual. Bring this ball back at the 20-yard line, and let's see how many times Tom Thinnell and the Bear Creek Bears really want to put the ball in the air tonight.
That's one of the interesting things about tonight's game is you're watching two high school teams who really operate more like a college or pro team in the way they run their offense. You and I were both at the Cherry Creek game. Bear Creek passed it like 95% of the time. You don't see that often in high school. In Arvada West, we know they've got a very complex offense. It's going to be nice to see both these offenses go to work.
Auckland goes to the top of the screen. Dusty Lewis in the slot. Single back in the backfield is Anderson. And here we go. Holland, your quarterback, dropping straight back. Looks out into the flat. Finds Auckland. He's tied up. Let go. Gets across. He is off to the races. The 50, 40, 30, 20. Are they going to catch him? No. 10, 5. Touchdown. Craig Auckland takes it 80 yards from the opening play for a touchdown. They did not wrap up. Jesse Brannon had him for a moment. 80 yards later, however, this young man, he likes to tell everybody he's the equivalent of Pyatt on the other side. And right now, you have a young team looking for a little bit of confidence.
Craig Auckland, 27 receptions on the year, 316 16 yards, also 8 touchdowns, make it 9. Little things make plays like that. Holland with a strong throw out to the flat. He didn't lob it out there. He got it out there quick. Auckland able to catch it and make a move before the A-West defense really could get set. Broke a tackle by Jesse Brandon, and he was off to the races. Great start for Bear Creek, but this looks a lot like last week's game with Overland. Remember the fast start the Trailblazers?
Yes, indeed. Just a quick, that was nothing more than just a quick dump pass to the outside and let the young man go, and he did. Jesse Brandon couldn't quite wrap him up, and we're a total now of about 17 seconds into this ball game. 7-0 Bear Creek Bears, and now a very powerful offense gets set to come in as Cavallari and company get set to do the honors for the Arvada West Wildcats. That's if they get an opportunity to touch the ball, because Pyatt and Dern are back to receive. Let's see what Tom Thinnell and company do as far as the kickoff.
Well, if Arvada West needed a wake-up call for tonight's game, Don, I guess they got it, huh?
Once again. We watched this last week, and I tell you what, if you're Rudy Andrade right now, ulcers are starting to form in your stomach.
You're like, what's going on with our first quarter defense?
Here we go. Put the ball into play. Comes straight down, 35-yard line, cross the 40 out to the 42, and bringing that ball straight back was John Degner. Degner only a junior and one of the reserve running backs. I didn't think they would be crazy enough to kick the ball back to Pyatt or Duran.
I'll tell you what, though, Don, I've been to a number of games this year where teams have.
Oh, I have too.
Last week they punted to him and kicked off to him, and finally a coach said, you know what? I'm not going to let these guys beat me on special teams, which is what A-West has been doing all year.
Tom Thinnell has watched Pyatt since he was a sophomore. He's not stupid.
He's seen enough of him.
I formation set. Pyatt to the top of your screen. Flip this ball back to Duran. Take it off the left side. Gets a block by Krakow. Picks up maybe 3 yards. We'll have a 2nd down and 7. Set the offense for you. Cavallari, a quarterback. Duran, your tailback. Krakow, the fullback. Pyatt and Craighead make up the receiver core with their tight end Bernhorn. Jones, Fowler, Shepard, Seek, and Helgeson make up the horses up front. You'll see a lot of guys subbing in and out as well on this team. As a matter of fact, Micah Paudino checks into the game, goes to the top of your screen. Also to the top of the screen in the slot is Pyatt. I formation set, Duran and Krakow. Turn around, give it to Krakow, just a little cross-buck action. Krakow gets off to the races. He crosses the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Just a quick fake out, little draw play up the middle with your fullback, and first down.
Explosive running by Krakow. That looked like a play where Cavallari was going to pitch it wide. He made that motion, but then stuck it in the gut of Krakow. He had a lot of room to run. No one touched him until the tackle was made by Tony Cruzado.
Well, we have a first down and 10 from the 36-yard line of the Bears. Wildcats with the ball. Bears with the lead. 1 minute and 7 seconds into this ball game. Quarterback Cavallari dropping straight back, looks into the flat, has his man down the sideline. It's Duran. Duran's out there, goes up high for the ball, gets the catch. He just fought that ball straight into his heart, pulls it straight into the chest, and just pushes the defensive back, Permy, off of it.
About a 27-yard gain on that play, and I'll tell you what, that's got to be one of Arvada West's favorite plays in the book, is just let those receivers use their speed, lob it up there, and let them go get it. Dave Logan does a great job of teaching these receivers to go get the football, and that's what they do.
Well, Cyrus Permian was just beaten. I mean, you just had a man go up and take the ball right out of your hand.
He had good position.
Excellent
he wasn't
position.
beaten on the route. He just got beat going to the football.
No doubt. First down and 10, 10-yard line. Hand the ball straight back. Sims carrying it. Carrying strong into the hole, taken down quickly, however, when he was hit by Josh Garcia, your inside linebacker. Lawrence, Kessler, Forbes, Whitaker make up the front line. Murray, Segovia, Garcia, and Anthony make up the linebacking core. Crescetto, Permian, and Holland are your defensive backs in this 4-4 defense for the Bears.
Yeah, this could be one of these 50-something to 30-something football games right now. You know, I mean, you got two explosive offenses, and the defense is so far early on, look a little bit to be on their heels.
Pyatt in motion, left to right. Craighead top of the screen. Turn around, give it to Duran. Follows his man Crayco into the hole, and just not a lot of room there. The hole stuffed up quickly by Garcia and Anthony.
Needless to say, important third down play here for Bear Creek, but if you've watched Arvada West, don't expect the field goal kicker to come out anytime soon, huh?
If the ball's inside,
what, Arvada West
Logan,
on 30?
the Arvada West 30-yard line, he's going for it on fourth down. You know that.
4th 10, 4th and 5, 4th and it don't matter.
You know, you used to call him Coach Logan. We just call him the gunslinger. Quick timeout as Cavallari calls for one. Wants to go over and speak to the man himself and figure out exactly what you're going to do. Pyatt has not touched the ball yet tonight. Will not be surprised if we don't see a few trick plays as well. We saw a reverse last week, and I would not be surprised to see that play run once again this week. It just depends on when, because I guarantee you the Bear Creek coordinators and the entire coaching staff watch that game, minute by minute, second by second, and we'll be looking for something like that.
You know, these two teams really kind of mirror each other in a funny kind of way. You've got Brad Pyatt, who Arvada West will line up at the tailback position every once in a while, put him in motion, run reverses with him. Bear Creek does the same thing with Craig Auckland. They'll put him in a number of different sets. These are guys who are probably listed as receivers, but both coaches know that these guys are the game breakers, and they try to get the ball in these gentlemen's hands as much as possible and in a very creative ways, trying to keep the defense off balance.
Well, in that Cherry Creek game we alluded to, as you get trips to the left side, single wide out down at the lower end of your screen is Pyatt. They went to Auckland numerous times in the first half when we're in the ball game. Second half, they went to him twice, and they lose the game. Here we go. Cavallari puts his head down and gets stuffed at the 2-yard line. First one to hit him was Anthony. Helped out on the inside by Murray.
Segovia also was in there to finish off the play.
We have a fourth down and goal from the 2-yard line. Crayco checks back into the game. Sims as well as Paul Dino checking out. Looks like we might have a second tight end coming into the game as well. They're going to make a quick, tight set. You have Bernhorn in the game. And let's see what we can do. Pyatt takes you wide to the left. Wide to the right will be Craighead. I formation set. Fake it. Pitch it back on the option. He's going to walk on in. Duran gets it with a nice option play. Cavallari was cold-cocked as he came across the line. Craig Lawrence just drilled him, but he had enough patience and enough just intestinal fortitude to hang on to the ball for the last second. Pitch it out to Duran. He waltzes in for the touchdown.
Another example of why these two football teams have been good for a number of years. Arvada West, you think of them as a passing team with Cutlip last year and guys like Pyatt and Duran. There they run the option to perfection. Cavallari kept it at the last minute, pitched it at the perfect time, and they had the numbers on the corner.
Ball's down, up, and good. And we have a 7-7 ball game. 8:29 left in the first quarter. Don Martin along with the one and only Eric Christensen here on the Wildcat Network as we bring you some offensive exploding in the first half. I mean, it won't be an explosion until it's over, but right now they are exploding.
They are. I mean, Bear Creek's had the ball for one play. They covered 80 yards, and Arvada West had it for maybe 6 or 7 plays, and they took it 60 or 59 yards for the score. Again, I think this is going to be like a tennis match, Don. We're going to be just moving our heads from the left to the right, back and forth. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I'll take the over.
I wonder what the line on this game was, to be honest with you. Now you bring the big fella in, let him put his foot into it again. Eric Helgeson, I don't think he's had many return this year.
the majority of his kicks either go through the end zone or like the last one he had to open up the game, didn't necessarily go through the end zone, but he just kicked it low and in such an awkward spot. It was hard for, I believe it was Cressetti to handle the ball in that right corner.
Well, here we go again. Get the clock rolling and put a foot into it and see where it lands. That is into the end zone, no doubt about it. That is out of the end zone. Touchback, bring it back out to the 20-yard line. Young Justin Holland comes back in with the offense. Find out what Bear Creek does on this series. See what adjustments Rudy Andrade and company make for the Arvada West Wildcats and get their 4-3 defense underway.
I guess if you're Rudy Andrade, the only adjustment you can make is, hey, guys, make a tackle.
Yeah,
they had that play defensed for about a 4 or 5 yard gain, but Auckland was able to slither his way out of the grasp of Jesse Brannon, then broke another 2 tackles, and he was off to the races.
Well, you have Pyatt playing center field right now, and I guarantee you nobody will outrun him offsides. Encroachment on the defense. Move that ball up 5 yards, put it at the 25-yard line, and let's try this thing again with a first down and 5.
The guilty party was Joe Knight, 5'10", 200-pound junior for Arvada West.
He knew he did wrong, grabbed that helmet and looked down, did not look at the sideline. You know when you do something wrong, and you sure as heck don't want to look into the face of your coach when it happens.
In football with 11 players, there's a chance you might be able to hide, in basketball.
Not when you're that
done.
Couple of wideouts off to each side. I formation set. Anderson and Terry in the backfield. Dropping straight back is Holland. He's going down the sideline. Wants his man. Gets him. Catches the ball at the 42-yard line. And coming down with the football was Nick Hahn, checking into the game for the first time tonight at the wide receiver role.
33-yard pickup on the play. Holland off to a pretty good start. Let's see, he's 2 for 2 for 113 yards. Not a bad start to this ball game.
Well, see, the thing is the Cherry Creek game, they tried the timing pattern over and over again, couldn't get it there. I was wondering at that point, when this young man finally, gets the timing down with his receivers, what will we see? Split backs in the backfield, turn around, hand it straight back to Terry. Terry tries fighting hard on the inside. Nowhere to go, just manhandled by Wunderlich and company. Also in there, Morales. Coming off of Terry, the first man to hit him was Joe Knight.
Back to that previous play, what was surprising on that is Nick Hahn basically outran Mike Duran to the football. I don't know if I was ever going to get a chance to say someone would outrun Mike Duran, but that time Hahn just had the momentum going his way and was able to beat him.
That's because he got Duran to bite when he stopped. It was just a little hitch and go, and he ends up getting him to bite. Once he bit, he had some speed. Here we go. Holland looks down the field, has his man out there. Auckland cannot get there. Overthrows him by about 15 yards, but Auckland had Brannon beat.
You got that right, and Pyatt had taken a couple steps in, keeping his eyes on the receiver over here on the left and the tight end, O'Connor, and he took just enough steps to open up the room behind him, and Auckland was wide open, just overthrew it. Might be a case of a sophomore being a little jitterish here in his maybe first real big game of his high school career. This kid's only 15 years old.
Oh, I agree
he's going
with
to
you.
make some mistakes, but he hasn't made many this year.
He doesn't even drive yet. Third down and 8.
Are you saying I have to give him a ride home after the game?
Ball on the 41-yard line of the Wildcats. Bear Creek with the football. 7:25 left in the first quarter. 7-7 ball game. Wildcats jumping, but the flag does not fly. Holland goes back, looks into the flats, finds his man, and the man that he hits this time around is Dusty Lewis. Definitely not enough for the first down. Nice defense on the outside. Derek Cisneros comes in and puts the hit on.
I'll tell you what, out of all the players on this Arvada West team, minus the Pyatts and Duran, the guys are going to be there game in and game out, Dirk Cisneros has really impressed me this year. This is a guy who has come up and in the Wheat Ridge game last week and already here tonight. This guy's made a lot of big plays for this Arvada West football team.
And I'm glad you said Dirk because I said Derek, and you're absolutely right. Dirk does a heck of a job, and I watched him last year do a wonderful job as well. Here we go, fake punt. Looking for the punter on the comeback. Overthrows him.
That play was wide open, too. Poor execution again.
Fake punt. Get the ball out to Holland.
I'll tell you what, Josh Garcia was wide open. He snuck out he was one of the up men on the punt. He snuck out and was wide open. Pyatt was out there, and Pyatt would have caught him, but not until he would have got the first down. I guarantee you that.
And that was Jeff Holland, not Justin Holland, the quarterback, but Jeff Holland. Not
his
sure if they're related. Are they older brothers?
It's his older brother, so he's probably the one who takes him from game to game and practice to practice.
Well, I'll tell you what, he didn't quite have that timing pattern down either. First down and 10, 47-yard line of the Wildcats. They have the ball. I formation set. Pyatt in the flat. Here we go. Just a quick flare-out pass. New name in the ball game again as we continue to bring. No, it's Dern with the football this time. Cross the 40, down to the 38. Hard running by Duran. Nice blocking in front of him as well. Just a quick dump pass. A little screen as they set Duran up and get to the outside.
And we've seen that a number of times this year. Craig Lawrence, the defensive end, they didn't even block him. They let him come right in on Cavallari. That opens up that entire side of the field. Those offensive linemen swing out and make some blocks, and you let Duran work his magic.
Flag on the play, and they're going to pull this thing all the way back.
Does that negate the entire play? Or
no, it does not. It was
clip.
At the end of the play, clipping at the end of the play, move it back. So it's still going to be a first down, but now it's going to be a first down from the 47-yard line. 6:27 and counting. Don Martin, Eric Christensen with you. Checking into the ball game. Micah Paladino brings in the play. Craighead goes out. 7-7 contest here on the Wildcat Network.
So actually that was a 26-yard play that got negated to a 5-yard gain, huh?
Yep.
That's a costly penalty. But again, you just wonder, Arvada West, they just like to throw, guys like Cavallari and Wyatt, their numbers will look really good at the end of the game, yet they don't throw very many deep or far passes. A lot of the passes Arvada West throws are, screens to Duran or short slants to Pyatt. Pretty safe passes, but when you got guys like that and you got the execution that they have down, these little plays can turn into big plays before you can even blink.
Ball control offense. Remember who the coach is.
Yeah.
Remember what the main offensive scheme is in pro football today for the successful teams. It's that West Coast offense. It's ball control.
It's ball control through the air.
Dave knows how to call that game as well as anybody, and in the high school ranks better than anybody. You have Duran, Paladino, and Pyatt. 1, 2, 3 from the outside in. Trips to the left side. Quick pop. Little screen pass. Get it to Pyatt, still on his feet, gets enough for the first down. Finally taken down at the 36-yard line. Just a quick step back, use the other two receivers on the screen, and just nail it straight across.
Derek Cavallari 3 for 3 tonight for 70 yards, and that's another case of just a short pass turning into a big play. That time Pyatt just took a step back from his slot position. Micah Paladino sealed off the cornerback, giving Pyatt a lane. Then Pyatt broke a tackle by Adam Murray, who's a lot bigger than he is, and it turned out to be a 17-yard pickup.
It was a great-looking screen pass set up by wide receivers instead of offensive linemen or tailbacks and fullbacks. I formation set, 5 yards once again is moving a little too soon on the right side of that line. 5:51 and counting in the first quarter, 7-7 ball game, and move the Wildcats back again. Third penalty already in the first quarter.
Eric Helgeson, the guilty party that time, just got up from his stance. No excuse for that. Already Arvada West, 3 penalties for 25 yards tonight. They can't be perfect all the time, huh?
I guess. Craighead to the top of your screen. Pyatt to the lower end. I formation set. Crayco and Dern in the backfield. Your quarterback this time around, David Wyatt. Wyatt just turns around, drops back, has the timing pattern. Just a nice flared out to Pyatt. It's out of bounds.
It's interesting how Bear Creek has chosen to defend Brad Pyatt. That time they have Adam Murray, their outside linebacker, lined up one-on-one with Brad Pyatt, but they've got a safety who I think his only job is to not let Pyatt go deep, and the safety on that play was Tony Crescetto, a senior. It's probably their best defensive back on the team, and that time he read the play perfectly. He was there when the ball was coming down.
He also exchanged a few words with Mr. Pyatt because the ball was out of bounds, and Pyatt just leveled him. Leveled him on the sideline, but, he hit him before he went out of bounds. It was just a great block. Clear the backfield. 4 receivers, and dropping straight back will be Wyatt. Goes back into the flat. Ball knocked straight up in the air. Great defensive play by Craig Lawrence. They were trying to set up that same screen pass that they did just a moment ago to the opposite side of the field with Pyatt. This time they brought Duran out of formation, put him in the slot, had him step back, and nice heads-up play by big Craig Lawrence.
Craig Lawrence has had a monster year this year for the Bears. Only a junior. You're going to hear a lot more of this guy over the next year and a half. Leads the state with 10 sacks. That time he was able to get his big paw up and knock that one down.
You know, we don't have heights and sizes as far as weight anyway for the Bear Creek Bears. Their coach, Tom Thinnell, never likes to show more cards than he has to. And this guy
sounds
here,
like Bill Snyder.
He has to be 6'4", 6'5" on that
he looks like
defensive
he's
end.
pretty tall.
Second timeout of the first quarter used by the Arvada West Wildcats. 5:20 and counting in the first quarter, 7-7 ball game. Coach Logan comes out, and he's going to talk to Wyatt this time.
After an explosive beginning to this game, things have kind of settled down. Bear Creek, their drive stalled on a fake punt down here around the Arvada West 40. And right now, Arvada West driving, but they're stuck here with a 3rd and 15 situation. So after a quick start where maybe a lot of these players, especially on Bear Creek being such a young team, when nerves play a part for that first 5-10 minutes, maybe guys are starting to settle down and get used to the atmosphere this evening.
You know, you don't like to use the term dislike, especially in high school football. But these guys dislike each other.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those rivalries that, for the last couple of years, they've played to see who goes to the state championship,
Sure.
and then they've also played last year to find out who's going to win the state championship. And typically speaking, this is going to be a brawl. This game right now, fairly evenly played. The Arvada West defense has given up 7 points already, but yardage-wise, they haven't given up that much.
I mean, it's all been on, they gave up an 80-yard pass play, and that's really been about it.
And then they stalled them from there. Dropping straight back. Wyatt looks over the middle. He has Pyatt. Here he goes. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. 59 yards. Make it 41.
It's really unbelievable, the big play potential of this Arvada West offense. It seems like we say the same thing week in and week out. That time, Cavallari threw a great pass. Craig Lawrence hit him right as he threw it. The ball just got over the outreached hands of Josh Garcia, and Pyatt was off to the races.
And I want to correct one thing you said because it was Wyatt to Pyatt.
Oh, excuse me.
Cavallari was not in on that particular play, and I didn't want Mr. and Mrs. Wyatt to get upset with us.
I'm glad you caught that.
Little swinging gate. Speaking of Wyatt, he puts the ball down here in a matter of seconds. Kick is up, and it is good. And we have a 14-7 ball game. Consecutive weeks, the Arvada West Wildcats, they fall back as the first drive for their opponent goes the distance, and they find themselves back in the lead again.
Just
interesting football.
Just when Bear Creek thought they had him, backed up in a 3rd and 15 situation, maybe the Bears defense thinking they're gaining a little momentum. I mean, when you got guys like Brad Pyatt and Mike Duran, it don't matter if you're 3rd and 40 or 2nd and 2. I mean, they can break a game open on the high school level. I mean, like nobody else.
Well, Pyatt now has a 41-yard touchdown to add to the credits, and it continues to just pile them up. He and Duran continue to go back and forth as far as who leads this team in touchdowns. And
Pyatt coming into the game averaged 22 yards a catch. Tonight, 2 catches, 59 yards, so he's looking to even up that up a little higher.
It's going to be interesting. I want to see where this young man decides to go to college.
Sounds like he's got his pick of just about anywhere, huh?
Well, understandably so. Here we go. Big man puts his foot into it again, and once again out of the back of the end zone, and we'll bring it back on a touchback to the 20-yard line. And Justin Holland and company, as we continually sound over and over again like we're just hitting that replay button.
We might as well put it on a cart or something, bring a machine in here and just say, touchback.
Big man kicks it again, touchback, bring it out to the 20, and Holland and company come out again.
You were talking about how you hate to use the word dislike, but really there's not many other words you can use for, I guess, the feelings between these two football teams here tonight. Really reminds me a lot when I was in high school. Regis and Mullen had that kind of intense rivalry, and that went way back. I mean, those two schools really disliked each other.
Draw play up the middle. Holland hands this ball to Terry. Terry nowhere to go as he is picked on by Ryan Palmer. Palmer throws him to the ground.
6-yard pickup there by Terry. Ryan Palmer, the second leading tackler in the state there to make sure he wouldn't go any further. And that was a strange tackle because Terry's a pretty big guy. He's their fullback. And he just grabbed him by the back of the shirt and just yanked him down.
Kind of lets you know the strength of that young man now, doesn't it?
Ryan Palmer is a man.
He is, no doubt. Couple wideouts off to the top of your screen. Auckland the furthest, and here we go again. Terry, the lone back in the backfield, coming into the slot. Get it to the outside, into the hands of Lewis. Dusty Lewis down the sideline, gets enough for the first down. And where are they going to finally place him out? Appears to be about the 34 34, maybe 33-yard line.
Dusty Lewis, I mean, a lot of people talk about Craig Auckland for Bear Creek being, I guess, their bread and butter man on offense, but really Dusty Lewis has put up some good numbers this year as well. 18 catches, 514 yards, averages 28 yards a catch. I mean, this guy's a game breaker as well.
Well, the one thing that Dusty Lewis has is tremendous speed. He now is lined up in the slot, lower into your screen. Auckland to the outside, dropping straight back is Holland. He wants Auckland, steps up into the pocket, still looking for him. You knew he was going there. Finally dumps it off, 40-yard line. Beautiful move. Back-to-back great moves by Auckland as he takes McNeely out of the play, also taking Cisneros out of the play. And you just talk about the jitterbug moves.
You know, they did a lot of that with Craig Auckland against Cherry Creek. They'll send Dusty Lewis and Nick Hahn and the guys, they'll send them deep on fly patterns, and Auckland will just kind of sneak his way down to the first down marker, just plant himself there, and he's kind of like a safety valve, and more often than not, Holland gets the ball to him, and Auckland's the kind of guy who can take a 10-yard pass and make it 30 or 40 like that.
I agree with you. I formation set as they go back to the two backs. Dropping straight back, he fakes to Auckland, goes into the set, looking over the middle, finds his tight end, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Out of bounds around the 15-yard line. Unbelievable play. And just a great dump-off pass to Nick Hahn once again. That's the second big completion for Nick Hahn.
2 catches, 73 yards on the day. I'll tell you what, Justin Holland's having a pretty good day as well. I've got him 6 of 7 for 180 yards. We're still in the first quarter, and this kid's 15.
I know. 3:47 left in that first quarter, by the way.
You don't think some colleges are licking their chops for this kid when he becomes a senior, huh?
In the backfield, Auckland and Terry. Wide out off to each side. Hahn down at the lower end of your screen. They're looking for him. Timing pattern into the corner all by himself. Touchdown.
Well, there's a misassignment there.
Oh, yes, indeed. I mean, he faked Dern to the inside, just went straight for the post, and the ball couldn't have been thrown any prettier by Holland than that. And we are close to a 14-14 ball game.
And that might have been a case where Mike Duran thought he may have had some backside help or something because Hahn was, there was no one even near him. I don't know if Duran slipped or if he thought he had some help on the backside, but, that close to the goal line, you wouldn't think he'd be looking for help on his backside.
That is one I would love to be able to see again. We have a 14-14 ball game with 3:42 left in the first quarter, and once again, Tom Thinnell tells us prior to the football game that his team is too young, inexperienced. Gave you that regular old coach speak. Have no business on this field. But you know darn good and well, I don't care if you have to suit up the 8th and 9th graders. When Arvada West and Bear Creek get together, there's going to be so much going on out there and so much adrenaline, certain things are going to happen.
Hey, don't feel too sorry for Bear Creek. I mean, they are 4-1 on the year with their
only for them at all.
with their only loss coming to Creek, who is undefeated and ranked, 4th in the state, something like that.
Only thing I got to say about it is Tom Thinnell took a great page out of, the old the Pagano and the old coaches here as well. I mean, I used to have a good time sitting there trying to talk to Cherry Creek, Mullen, Boulder, Fairview. It didn't matter which coach came to the table. They all had something to say about, we're
just not good
enough. Shouldn't even put our cleats on tonight. That ball's going to go out of bounds. A little squib kick, throw the flag, bring the ball back out, start this thing at the 35-yard line, and that's where this powerful offense for the Arvada West Wildcats will go back at it.
Hey, letting Arvada West start at the 35-yard line, there's a lot worse fates out there than that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'll tell you that.
I agree with that.
I mean, that may not be the kind of football a lot of people want to see. You may not want to see your team kick it out of bounds deliberately, but, honestly, I think that's the smart play.
Well, when you have Pyatt and Duran back there, it's death.
Oh, here's an interesting thing. I
guess
Arvada West gets a chance to decline it, so kick it out of bounds again.
No, they're moving this ball back a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So, now Bear Creek's forced, pretty much to keep this thing in play, but don't expect them to kick it too high.
Well, an up man will get the football. I will just about guarantee you that. It just depends on which up man it is. Mm-hmm. 3:42 and counting in the first quarter. Jeffco Stadium. Don Martin, Eric Christensen with you. The Wildcat Network as we continue to bring you outstanding broadcasts and of pretty darn good football games. This 5-0 football team taking on a 4-1 team that definitely does not want to lose to Arvada West tonight because if they do, it puts themselves deep in a hole.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Arvada West would have to lose 3 times, and I don't see that happening this year for Bear Creek to have an opportunity to beat these guys again. Squibbit, get the ball straight up into the hands, 35, put your shoulders down, out to the 40-yard line, and John Degner comes up with it again. Degner, part of that Good Hands team, and twice now he has handled kickoffs and gives the Wildcats outstanding field position. They're going to mark this one officially at the 39-yard line.
Tackle on the play made by Mitch Wilmus, another junior for Bear Creek.
And Cavallari comes back out as the quarterback.
That Steve Spurrier, I mean, he's not alternating them on every play, but
possessions.
Wyatt, yep. I mean, we didn't see much of Wyatt last week either, so it was nice to see him get in this game early.
Couple of wideouts off to the top of your screen. Pyatt in the slot, Craighead to the top. Dropping straight back is Cavallari. Just dump pass, quick screen, flag in the backfield. Duran taken down quickly, this time by Cyrus Permy. And the ball was in the flag down in the defensive backfield, so your back judge saw something, someone either moving or holding or shifting or holding on the defense, as a matter of fact.
So that's a 2-yard gain. That's going to be about a 10-yard pickup. That time, Bear Creek finally caught on to that little screen pass and had it well defensed. Unfortunately for them, I think someone grabbed a hold of Mr. Pyatt while he was streaking down the field only as a decoy.
So they bring that ball back 39-yard line, mark it off for 10 yards, and let's start this thing all over again. Out to the 49-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. 3:29 and counting in the first quarter. 14-14 ball game. Offensive explosion. Craighead will be joined by Paul Dino at the top of the screen. I formation set. Craco in the ball game as your fullback now. And that young man at 205 pounds at 5'9", as Paul Dino comes in motion. He is just a block. I saw him down on the field. Duran with a beautiful block up the middle by Craco. Nobody touched him till he got into the defensive backfield, taken down at the 32, 35, maybe 36-yard line. They'll mark it at the 36. 1st down and 10 for the Wildcats.
4 carries, 22 yards tonight for Mike Duran. He does have a touchdown, and you were talking about Jim Craco, and I kind of put the binoculars on him that time, and he didn't even need to make a block. The big fellas up front opened up a hole where Craco, he tried to block a guy, but, I mean, the play was already by him by the time it happened. He likes it when the guys up front do their job.
Couple of wideouts off to the top of your screen. Quickly to Craco this time, straight up the middle. Just a nice draw play. He was taken down that time by Anthony, but not till after he gained about 8 yards.
And again, that's the same play he busted that 19-yard run on earlier in the game. It looks like Cavallari or Wyatt is going to pitch it to Duran on the outside, but they stick it quickly right in Craco's gut. Kind of a misdirection draw play to the fullback.
Craighead brings the play in. He and Paul Dino into the ball game. Pyatt's still out of the ball game. Wonder what's going on across the way there. Has not been in on this series of downs as of yet. I formation set, Duran and Craco. Once again, your quarterback, Derek Cavallari. Cavallari flips it back. Duran, following Craco into the hole. He continues to run and just puts his shoulder down, drills into Crescetto as he crosses the 15. They're going to give him the 10. 1st down and goal for Arvada West, and that was just power running by a young man that's 5'9", 180 pounds.
We've talked about it before. When you look at guys like Mike Duran and Brad Pyatt from out here, or when you stand up close to them, they don't necessarily look big and strong. They don't look like they're going to push the pile or break tackles, but these guys are deceivingly tough. Not only are they fast, but once you get your hands on them, they're tough to bring down.
New face into the ball game for the Wildcats. Top of your screen, Matt Morris into the ball game. Fake, straight down the middle, looking for it. Can he get rid of it? Yes, finds his man, and Micah comes away with one. Paul Dino, touchdown.
Nice drive there, engineered by Derek Cavallari. Hits Paul Dino for the touchdown pass of 11 yards, and he felt some pressure by Craig Lawrence, was able to elude the pressure, stepped up, and a nice thing there by Cavallari was he's able to keep his field of vision. Even though he was eluding a pass rush, he still had his head up, was able to spot the open man and found him.
And the one thing I want to believe, too, is Micah Paudino started way to the outside. He saw his quarterback in some trouble, so he quickly came towards his quarterback into the middle of the field, and by doing so, he left himself wide open, gets a touchdown. He ran off. He was all excited. He forgot he had to hold for this kick. Paulino takes the snap, puts it down. Ball is up and good, and we have a 21-14 ball game. That's right, 21-14 with 1:29 left in the first quarter.
Unbelievable. I mean, I thought it might be a high-scoring game. I didn't think it would be 35 points with still a couple minutes left in the first quarter. But, like we mentioned before, I mean, Dave Logan unparalleled at the high school level when it comes to creating an offense and drawing up plays. Tom Thinnell not too far behind either. He's one of the tops when it comes to offensive football in this state as well, and these two guys are proving that to be true here tonight.
I just want to tell you, though, this is the Scarface Titanic version of a football game because it took us 36 minutes to play, 10.5 minutes of football?
We talked about it before. I mean, Bear Creek likes to throw it. Arvada West is going to put it up in the air. This is going to be a long game.
Hey, the Encyclopedia Britannica edition. This is definitely not Reader's Digest. All right, big fella's going to put his foot into it. Is he tired?
That's high.
Not that tired. Touch back, bring it out to the 20.
Once again, Helgeson making Bear Creek go 80 yards if they hope to put a 6 or 7 spot on the board and tie this football game. Pretty good weapon to have when you got confidence in someone just to, he's going to put it in the end zone 80, 90% of the time.
Heck of a weapon. I have to, once again, repeat what you said because that is so true. I mean, you can't buy that kind of leg.
In Arvada West, I mean, hey, maybe their defense hasn't been too salty here tonight, but over the course of the year, they've got some good guys on defense, and I think Dave's going to take his chances having his defense line up against teams and making them go 80 yards against them.
That's Coach Logan to you. Couple of wideouts off to the right side. Single back in the backfield, dropping straight back is Holland. Wants his man in the flat. Tried to get it to Auckland. Auckland tied up by Brannon, and we have a 2nd down and 10.
One of the few times tonight Holland hasn't found his mark. 7 of 9 this evening, 190 yards for Holland. Only his 2nd incompletion of the night.
Only a sophomore. Helps so that he has a senior-laden offensive line. I mean, all the way across the front, they're all seniors. And that kind of helps you a little bit. Auckland lines up in the slot to the top of your screen. To the outside is Dusty Lewis, the speedster. Nick Hahn at the lower end of your screen. And now you have Arvada West guys clapping all over the place. This could be a 2nd down and 15.
Joe Poppleton came out of his stance a little early that time. That's going to be Bear Creek's 2nd penalty of the night. They've accumulated 15 yards in penalties. And when you're backed up on your own 15, looking at 2nd and 15, that's kind of a daunting task.
Nick Hahn checks out. Old Dice, Jenna Rice comes into the ball game. I just wanted to say that one time. You're going split backs in the backfield now. 2nd down and 15, excuse me. Timing pattern down the side. Dusty Lewis is there, and he is separated from the football by Pyatt. Duran took him inside. Pyatt took him high, and Pyatt separated him from the football. Down on the field prior to the ball game, Pyatt, I mean, he's built solid. Okay, there are a lot of guys built solid on this football team. I mean, you can tell this young man has been pumping up, lifting some weights and doing his thing. But you get down there and look at the faces of these guys and you say, my gosh, they are just kids.
How old am I?
You see how big they are and you see how fast they are and you see the kind of athletes that they are and in those uniforms and helmets, they look like men, and then you get down there and they are definitely young men. Encroachment on the defense, and we'll have a 3rd down and 10 coming up here in a matter of seconds. But I was kind of shocked by that, and once again realizing that yes, I am getting old.
Speak for yourself, Mr. Martin. Speak for yourself.
I did. I mean, you graduated high school, about 4 years ago?
I look like I'm still in high school. Trust me, I don't feel like I'm in high school.
Don Martin, Eric Christensen with you. 5-0 Wildcats, 4-1 Bears. 3rd down and 10, 15-yard line of the Bears. They have the ball trailing 21-14. $1:20 left in the first quarter.
Oh.
Quick dump over the middle. Great pass to O'Connor, the fullback. Gets the 1st down out to the 38-yard line.
17-yard pickup on the play. Justin Holland over the 200-yard mark tonight, and that time they just isolated the tight end, Jeff O'Connor, on Jaden McNeely, and O'Connor was able to get a step. Had to be a perfect throw. It was 1st down.
You know, O'Connor looks like a fullback, but he does play tight end. He's just a big old machine. 37-yard line's where they're going to place it down. First down and 10. Bear Creek's ball on their end of the field. Dropping straight back. They trail 21-14. Holland down the sideline. Man wide open.
Geez.
Dusty Lewis is there. He catches it. The 10. They trip him up inside the 5, down at the 4-yard line. And Dusty Lewis comes away with another big play.
Dusty Lewis, I mean, even on the one down here when Pyatt separated him from the ball, he still had his man beat by a step. That time he beat Jesse Brannon, arguably the best cover guy for Arvada West, by a few steps as well. I mean, these two teams have speed to burn, definitely.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Dusty Lewis has the speed. I don't want to say that there's a lot of speed on Bear Creek's team. He's the one guy that really has
he and Auckland?
Speed. Yes. Well, even Auckland doesn't have unbelievable speed. He just has some crazy moves. Here you go, timing pattern. Notice time slot over the middle. Tried to get it to Hahn. Hahn could not catch that football. Going after the ball. I'm trying to get a number. I think it's Duran, but Duran was nailed by Flora. I mean, Flora came across wanting to separate Hahn from the football, and he just picked up his own man, and Mike Duran was just leveled.
That's kind of like last year in the Super Bowl when Steve Atwater ran into, was it Darian Gordon?
That's exactly right.
That was a train wreck.
Second and goal, 3-yard line of the Wildcats. 21-14 Wildcats lead. Bear Creek knocking at the door. 24 seconds left in the first period. Turn around, hand it off to the big guy. Touchdown.
One of the few rushing touchdowns you'll see this year from Bear Creek.
Anthony Terry breaks it over right side, gets a nice block, and the bowling ball rolls on through, and we have a 21-20 ball game for at least the next couple of minutes.
At this pace, we're looking at an 84-84 tie. An overtime. We'll be here when the sun comes up.
Now I have to catch a flight tomorrow, heading for Seattle. Coach Logan and I need to be on that one together.
Hey, you're not leaving me alone in here tonight.
Dusty Lewis puts his foot into it. It's up and good, and it's 21 apiece. 20 seconds left in the first quarter, and right now we have a ball game, rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling all over the place. This has been interesting.
This is an entertaining game, and I talked to a few friends, and they were saying, "What are you doing tonight, Eric?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing a broadcast for the Bear Creek Arvada West game." And they're like, "Oh, that should be a pretty good game." And I started thinking about it. I thought, you know what? I don't know if there's many places I'd rather be tonight than right here. I mean, these two teams, I started getting excited around midday. I thought, I know these two teams don't like each other, and offensively they're both wonderful. And, hey, it's lived up to the billing tonight.
Well, I told you last week when we were sitting there at the Stutler Bowl all about this game. There was no doubt in my mind. And you know what? I called both of them last year, as a matter of fact. And it's an unbelievable rivalry. And the thing is, the rivalry doesn't end in football. It also goes to the basketball court. I mean, these guys just don't like each other. Here we go. Let's kick this one off. Dusty Lewis puts his foot into it, kind of squibs it. Well, here comes your return man for the evening. He breaks it out this time to the 45-yard line. Running with that football once again is John Degner. Degner has brought back every ball here tonight. And when you have Pyatt and Duran and all these big old run-back guys, and Mr. Degner's going over to Coach Logan saying, "Coach, I need a little bit of oxygen. I brought the ball back 3 times. Put me in."
And I'll tell you what Dave's probably saying to the young man is, "Hey, you know, I'm just glad you're catching the ball." You know, because, I mean, a lot of those up guys, they're not used to handling the rock, and when it's bouncing like that, it can take a funny bounce, and he's done a good job of fielding all 3 of those kickoffs.
Trips to the left side. You have Duran, Pyatt, Craighead. Paul Dino to the lower end of your screen. Dropping straight back. Set up the screen play. Oh, it's intercepted. You saw that coming, and Josh Garcia read it all the way as he grabs that football in between 2 white jerseys. First turnover of the night goes to the Bear Creek Bears, and Josh Garcia, the inside linebacker, read it all the way as he snags that football at the 35-yard line of the Wildcats.
That's a play that David Wyatt will learn to throw the ball away. That was an instance where he wanted to throw it earlier, and the play was covered, and he just kept locking in on it instead of maybe just burning the play and throwing it over everyone's head and out of bounds. He tried to force it, and it resulted in a turnover.
Lewis and Auckland up at the top of your screen. You have Hahn at the lower end. They're looking for him. Then they change. They're going for Dusty Lewis again. Couldn't get it over his shoulder. Brannon all over him. Holland wanted him about the 10-yard line.
They're really working on Jesse Brandon tonight, which is kind of surprising coming into this game. I mean, he is Arvada West's best cover guy when you talk to most people associated with this program. And Bear Creek saying, you know what, that doesn't bother us. We're going to throw it at whoever because we have confidence in our wideouts.
Well, 42 points and 12 minutes later. Well, on the clock anyway, 45 minutes into the ball game. As we end the first quarter, we're going to switch sides and see what the Bear Creek Bears can do with this football. Big, big, big series for the Arvada West defense. For our second down and 10, 35-yard line of the Cats. And once again, knotted up at 21 apiece. Don Martin, Eric Christensen with you, the Wildcat Network, Jeffco Stadium. Beautiful night for football. Great crowd on both sides of the field. And, interestingly enough, this is going to come down to the wire.
It appears that way. You remember last week Overland jumped out to that quick lead, but there was a point in that ball game, I think it was probably the reverse from midfield that went for a touchdown. Momentum switched heavily to Arvada West's favor. I think they scored 50 unanswered points after trailing 14-0. You don't get that feeling here tonight.
Holland rolls out, finds his man in the flat, catches the ball as well. Big tight end Jeff O'Connor down to the 20-yard line. Nice hands. Pyatt and Brannon and Flora around him. You couldn't have asked for a better pass by the sophomore Justin Holland.
On the run as well. I mean, it wasn't like he was stationary and threw the ball. He had to scramble away from some pressure. That's a real impressive pass.
Well, he's a sophomore. You don't know what you're going to get from game to game. I mean, there are going to be games, kind of like you watched last night with Kevin Brown, that he is just going to be unbelievable. And this kid right now, so far in the first half, has been unbelievable. Dropping straight back once again. He looks, finds his man over the middle. The tight end out there again. Does he catch it? Touchdown! Jeff O'Connor. Same play, opposite side. During that time on him with Cisneros. And he just found himself a hole, gets into that crease, touchdown.
And he's sort of found his favorite target here tonight, the seldom used tight end, Jeff O'Connor. He's got, 2 consecutive passes, 2 catches, 32 yards, and a score?
So he has more than 2 now, though.
He's got 3.
3 catches on the night.
3 catches, 52 yards, and a score.
Auckland puts it down. Lewis puts his foot into it, and we have a 28-21 ball game. And this is the first time that the Bear Creek Bears have led since that first play of the game.
This game is going to come down to turnovers.
Yes.
Usually you can say that about any game, but the way these two offenses are moving the football, I mean, they're making it look pretty easy. I don't see many signs that either of these defenses are going to be able to stop the other team on any kind of consistent basis. So this is the game that's going to come down to who makes more mistakes and who makes them at the critical times.
Well, if we hold true to form, they start the game out with the first play, and they go 80 yards and score, speaking of the Bears. They start the second quarter out, first play, they go down and score. So Arvada West should now score twice and take the lead again. That's just the way this game's going to go.
Don, Justin Holland, the sophomore quarterback we've spoken a lot about tonight.
Almost 300?
11 of 15. I've got him down for 300 on the nose.
Whoa.
300 yards in the first quarter.
Well, Dusty Lewis is going to kick it to his favorite return man again. Let's see what happens. I wasn't kidding you. Nope, other man this time. Picking this football up is Zach Ewey, and Ewey brings it right back out. A little pushing and shoving going on right now.
Zach got a lot of playing time last week against Oberlin. We called his name often.
Well, that's because Krakow went down.
That's right.
And Krakow, he's kind of,
he's back.
He's messing with that hamstring a little bit, but he is definitely back. And as I said earlier, that's a big little guy. He really is.
There ain't much little about Jim Krakow, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, 5'9". That when you're 6'4", 5'9", small.
What are you saying about those people who are 5'9"?
Short people. Just kidding. 11:42 left in the first half. 28-21 Wildcats trail. Hand the ball off to Duran. He can make the difference right here as he breaks the plane of the 35 down to the 32 of the Bears. Pushing and shoving to the outside. A lot of John as well. This game's going to get interesting before it's over. I guarantee you that as Duran rips one off.
Mike Duran is having himself a pretty good night. 6 carries for 62 yards. He's got 2 receptions for 53, so already he's accounted for, 115 yards in total offense?
Oh, yes, indeed. And I'm going to tell you this, Tony Crusetto, I don't care who he's on, but it seems like he loves to jaw with folks. That time it was Craighead, and Craighead jawed with him. Turn the ball around, give it to Krako. He rumbles down to the 15-yard line. Nice pickup by the big fullback. I have seen that play run after a big play, a big running play by the tailback Duran 3 different times now in the first half. They get a big one, and then they turn around and hand it with the draw play to the fullback, and it's worked every time.
3 carries, 45 yards for Mr. Krako. Already Arvada West has, 9, 10, 11 rushes for 110 yards, so that's a pretty good average. You'll make a living doing that.
Yes, you will. Craighead, Paudino down the lower end of your screen. Split backs in the backfield. Duran and Krako. Faking the option, turn it straight up. Wishing he pitched it back was Cavallari, but he gets it down to the 10. You get into the eyes of your linebacker like Josh Garcia and Ryan Segovia that time, and I guarantee you Derek looked up and just said for a split second, maybe I should have pitched that one.
I'll tell you what, though, if there was any part of him that was unsure about the play or didn't feel comfortable, puts his head down, picks up 5 yards.
Yeah. Can't blame him.
You'll live with 5 yards of carry.
Yes, you will.
You'll win a lot of football games.
But you
that.
just, sometimes as a quarterback, you don't live by doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
When you have 2 linebackers headhunting.
He was pretty successful, though, of getting down.
I formation, flip it back. Krako in front of Duran, looks for the block, turns it upfield. Couldn't quite squeeze through. Nice play by Craig Lawrence, the defensive end, as he spread the defense and spread that entire offense all the way to the outside.
Randy Kessler limping off the field for Bear Creek. He's going to be replaced by Jake Forbes. Nice block there by Eric Helgeson. I believe he is the right tackle for Arvada West. He got out there and put a big block on Matt Antony, and that allowed Duran to to find the room to get close to the stakes, and apparently he has a first down.
First down. Did you see Kessler come off the field? The 2 and the 7 on the back of his jersey, the 2 on the back of his jersey and the 7 on the front almost touch. That young man has not missed supper in a long time. I mean, that's a big kid.
This is one of those times when you wish you had the heights and weights, huh?
Oh, man.
You'd like to know.
Well, you have the house in there wearing number 72. 9:35 and counting in the first half, 28-21. Bear Creek with the lead, but for how long? Touchdown! Krako straight up the middle with the draw play. All right, let's bring them in, kick the extra point, knot this thing up again, get the ball back, go all the way down, score again, and make me a profit.
I mean, are both these teams going to go for 50, 60 points? I mean, at some point, you'd think one of these defenses is going to stop the other team, but I'm just seeing no signs of it. I mean, these 2 offenses, it's like... What's
going to happen is the gas tank's going to start getting to empty, and you're just going to start laying on each other.
You got that right.
Grant Paulin in, ball's down. Ooh, and got that ball down quickly. Nice hands by Micah Paudino as he saved that extra point. We're knotted up at 28 apiece. 9:29 left in the first half. Don Martin, Eric Christensen with you. The Wildcat Network coming to you from Jeffco Stadium, home of both of these teams. And this has been an interesting ball game, and as the Wildcat folks like to say across the way, we bring the ruckus. What does that mean?
You got me.
We bring the ruckus. All right, man. I like that.
We bring the noise, bring in the funk, something like that.
Well, I mean, you could go there, or you could also go with
it should say
on the field, too.
We bring the offense. And Bear Creek can have one of those as well, because that's what this game is about now.
Well, they do bring the offense.
Whoever said defense wins championships
Coach Andrade
didn't watch the first quarter of this game.
May want to beg to differ with us.
Tonight, I think I'd argue my point with him. Just tonight, though.
All right, Rudy, whenever you're ready, come on up here. I got a man that wants to argue with you. Let's let the big man put his foot into it, see if he can kick it out of the back of the end zone going from south to north. Gets his foot into it, and
nope.
We got a run back. Bring it back at the 1, the 15, the 19. No, they may give him the 18-yard line. Pull down from there. Bringing the ball back out was Jeremy Fleming, and he was upended as we bring the offense back out on the field. Justin Holland and company, and then you bring Wunderlich and the Flora Palmer group out here on the field and see exactly what this Arvada West defense can do.
I think everyone was a little surprised there was a kickoff return there. I mean, on both squads. I saw Brad Pyatt just kind of lackadaisically, I thought it's automatic.
You know what? Even when Pyatt's running hard, he looks like he's lackadaisical.
Runs faster than I can.
1st and 10, 18-yard line of the Bears. They have the football knotted up at 28 apiece. Timing pattern down the right side. The ball's up and nowhere near Nick Hahn. That play has worked twice tonight for Hahn, but that time Jesse Brandon was not going to let that man get behind him.
Well, Jesse Brandon may have seen something that tipped him off to the play. Maybe he just had a gut feeling because he turned around, started backpedaling, and then started running before the play even started. And Holland still threw the pass. That was like Brandon knew what was coming and was totally prepared for it. Nice play there by Jesse.
Here we go again. 2nd down and 10. Bear Creek has the ball at their own 18-yard line. Trips off to the left side. Big tight end out there as well. Single back in the backfield. Dropping straight back is Holland. Finds his man Hahn. Hahn is met immediately. Brandon helped out. Is that Flora? It sure is. Flora just put his helmet straight into the shoulder of Hahn and drove him into the turf. Ball out to the 22-yard line. That's a big pickup of 3 for that young man because he took a shot.
That's one of the things that I really like about Arvada West is you look at the size of those linebackers. Flora, 6'2", 220. Palmer, 6'1", 240. And then McNeely, 6'1", 215. I mean, that's like bigger than CU or CSU.
Oh, I agree with you.
And those guys can run a little bit, too. He's not slow.
Well, Auckland and Hahn are out to the top of the screen. Dusty Lewis at the lower end. They're looking for Lewis. Dropping straight back and to set up that screen instead. Couldn't dump it out there. Terry couldn't come away with it. And you know what? Had he come away with it, he had wished he'd not. Because Morales and Knight were in his face, and they would have just pummeled him. It almost sounds somewhat like we're a little bit leaning towards that Wildcat side. But, my gosh, this is the Wildcat Network,
That's right.
Isn't it? We're supposed to be tad bit homers. Because if they do go on to win a game, to win the championship again, I'm getting a ring. I'm going to tell Dave Logan that right now.
Hey, Dave and Scott told me at Bronco training camp, if they won it all, I was getting a ring, and I'm holding them to it.
Well, and I'm with you now. The ball's going to take a bounce. Will Pyatt go for it? No. He stayed away, crossed the 50, down to the 48-yard line. And the Wildcats will take over in excellent field position with 8:22 left in the half. And what did I tell you a minute ago? They would come back, score 2 touchdowns, take the lead again. That's just the way this ball game's going. And this touchdown is going to come at the hands of Pyatt. Let's see what we can do. 28 apiece, 8:22 left in the half.
I'm writing it down.
We're ready
Pyatt,
for an offensive explosion, all right?
I'm going to keep the binocs on him.
Well, he needs to be in the ball game to score.
He needs to be on.
Yeah, Paul Dino and Craig head off to the left side. Pyatt's been out quite a bit tonight. I wonder if he's all right. I formation set. Turn around, give it to Duran. Why not? He's run strong with that ball here tonight behind Crayco. That time met in the hole, wrapping up at the ankles. Jake Forbes, the defensive tackle, but not until after you get a gain of 3 for Mr. Duran.
One of the things I've noticed tonight, and I wonder if this is just Arvada West's way of countering Bear Creek's passing offenses, we haven't seen Brad Pyatt play much defense at all this year. I can't even really remember him playing any defense this year. But now he's playing a lot in this game on the defensive side of the ball. I just wondering if they're giving him some spells on offense because they want him out there for defense.
They need the speed. Pyatt to the top of your screen now. Craighead at the lower end. I formation set. Just about encroaching on the defense. I don't know how much closer you can get. Dropping straight back. Wyatt's down the sideline. He wants his man. Craighead has to go get it, and he can't. Another interception. Cyrus Permy comes away with it. Craighead has to go and fight for that football.
I'll tell you what, not only did David Wyatt get picked, he got leveled. Jeff Whitaker just had an open season on Wyatt at about the midfield. He took a big hit on that play.
Well, Mr. Wyatt proved me wrong, and I didn't like it. Turn this ball over. Justin Holland and company are going to come on out. It wasn't as much Wyatt's fault. I mean, you can go on either side. Flag at the end of that play as well. Looks like it's going to be on Bear Creek as they move this ball even closer. This could be unsportsmanlike conduct, and that would not surprise me.
10 yards.
I'm going to call it a clipping.
They've got 3 penalties for 25 yards. Arvada West 5 for 30.
Well, we're going to get a turnover here in a matter of seconds as the Andrade-led team will pick this ball off.
If at first you don't succeed, Don,
try again. Hahn on Dern at the top of your screen, and that's the way they're going to go. Looking straight back. Holland wants him. This time he's going to go over the middle. His man Dusty is out there. And Jesse Brandon pushed him at the last second. Pyatt's going to catch him. No! Touchdown.
Holy cow. That's 91 yards.
And he got behind Pyatt and Brannon. Touchdown, Dusty Lewis. Whoa.
4 catches, 160 yards for Dusty Lewis. And I'll tell you what, we've seen a lot of Bear Creek receivers tonight get behind the defensive backs and safeties of Arvada West.
92-yard touchdown completion. 80-yard touchdown in the first quarter. First play of the game, as a matter of fact. 7 minutes, 12 seconds left in the half. Ball's down. Lewis puts his foot into it. He kicks it up and good, and Dusty Lewis right now completed all 7 of those points. 35-28 as the Bear Creek Bears growl a little bit. Maybe I ticked them off.
You know what we should have brought to this game was Chass's record book. Yeah, an abacus. I mean, we should have brought Chass's record book because already tonight, Holland's got 395 yards passing. Now, I don't know what the record is, but he's got to be on pace. I mean, 395 yards, Don, and there's 7 minutes left here in the second quarter. I mean, he's on pace for 600-700 yards
This
passing.
has just been an offensive explosion on both sides of the field.
Yeah, and Arvada West has matched him, tick for tack. I mean,
yeah,
got 71 yards rushing.
But think about it. Take 14 points off that board, and the Wildcats are leading because of 2 turnovers.
Yeah, we talked about how turnovers would play a big part.
Yeah, 14 points in turnovers right now.
After that touchdown, Mr. Lewis gets to kick it off.
Well, he kicked the extra point. Now he's going to kick again. And he squibs it. Ball's going to come on down. I'd pitch it back.
Oh.
See, I would have done that too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch it back to Pyatt. Give him the ball.
Sure.
Get the ball out to the 31-yard line, and here comes a flag late.
Tempers maybe starting to flare a little bit.
I guarantee you they will.
Seen a few more flags in the last few minutes.
We're not even at halftime. There's going to be a little bit of John, and this time it's going to be on Arvada West. It's not for that. It's pushing. This is football. I thought you were allowed to push.
Yeah. It's not a nice game. It's not a, hey, let me help you up game. When Bear Creek and A West get together, it's all about being physical.
It's a 15-yard penalty. Bring it all the way back to the 15-yard line, and let's see who comes in at quarterback. It's Cavallari.
Cavallari's been the man. I mean, I've got him for 5 of 7 for 119 yards.
Wyatt has a touchdown too, though, doesn't he?
Wyatt has that 42-yard touchdown pass.
All right, here we go. Paul Dino and Craighead to the lower end of your screen. Couple backs in the backfield, handed big time off to Crayco. He has met hard in that hole. Picked up quickly by Segovia.
I don't know who got the worst of that, though. Anthony was in there on the tackle as well, and I think he was the one who eventually stopped Crayco, but Crayco gave him a pretty good hit on that play.
Well, Crayco's going to level you. I mean, he's that Robert Newhouse kind of fullback where his legs are as big as his waist.
Those Tom Rathman, Mike Allstott kind of guys.
Yes, indeed. All right, Morris and Paulino off to the left side. Handed off to Duran. Nowhere to go. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 after the pickup of 2. Make it 3rd down and 4 as they give him a couple more yards than that. Ran into a hard wall. The wall led on the inside by Segovia and company.
Josh Garcia got a hand in there as well. He actually got knocked to the ground by the block, but he was able to reach his hand out while on the ground, kind of helped trip Duran up on that play.
Well, Pyatt and Craighead check back into the game. Wyatt, Pyatt, and Hyatt. And
Wyatt and Pyatt staying at the Hyatt.
There you go. Now Craighead and Pyatt off to the lower end of your screen. I formation set. Duran and Crayco. 3rd down and 4. 22-yard line of the Cats. They trail 35-28. Craighead goes in motion. 5:41 and counting in the half. Turn around. Find his man. They were trying to set up that shot again, and Pyatt took an ugly hit in the back of the head by Adam Murray.
You easily could have thrown a flag on that.
He will not forget that.
Again, though, there's that interesting matchup. They've got their outside linebacker, Adam Murray, covering Brad Pyatt. You may think, like, what the heck are they doing? But they line up that safety. Cyrus Permy is like a safety valve. Really, they've got 2 guys on Brad Pyatt anytime he splits way out.
Well, Crescetto and Auckland are back. They're getting a little cocky back here. They're at the 45-yard line, and they're celebrating a little bit. Put the foot into it. Duran gets it off. The ball's going to take a bounce. Does it go Arvada West's way? Roll and dies, as a matter of fact, at the 49-yard line. Awesome field position for the Bears. They lead this 35-28. They have the ball at the Arvada West 49, 5:27 left in the first half. I mean, this game's far from over. Trust me.
I mean, the two teams have combined, what is that? I mean, 63, 65 points already. I mean, the scoreboard can change quickly in this game. A 1 or 2 touchdown lead can evaporate in a matter of milliseconds.
And you were right the first time. 63 is a good number.
It's been a long time since I took basic addition and subtraction.
John Rice as well as Auckland on the outside. That ball straight up the middle, and nobody was going anywhere. Pile driven in there. First man I see coming out is Ryan Palmer.
Yeah, I think he just kind of submarined his way into the backfield. Was able to wreak a little bit of havoc.
Well, Terry had nowhere to go. The door was closed. Second down and 11 after the loss of 1 back to the midfield stripe. 5:04 and counting in the first half. The Wildcat Network. Martin and Christensen suited up, ready to go. Put us in, Coach. Jeffco Stadium. Wide out off to each side. The dangerous one at the lower end of your screen is Auckland. A couple of backs in the backfield. Dropping straight back. Here comes Holland. He's looking. He wants Auckland to the outside. And he gets him. Taken down just inside the 35, down to the 32-yard line. And Jesse Brannon picks him up from there. But Auckland laid right down in between the linebacker and the defensive back, and the pass couldn't have been any prettier.
No, it sure couldn't, because, again, that was one of those cases where the quarterback had to thread the needle, had to throw it over Dirk Cisneros, but in front of Jesse Brannon to his open man, and it was a perfect pass. We've seen quarterbacks on both sides complete some very difficult passes tonight.
Hahn at the lower end of your screen, Auckland at the top. I formation set. Holland, your quarterback, turns around, wants it all. Here comes the pressure. Can they get to him? Sophomore lets it go. Finds his tight end once again. He's down to the 5-yard line. Jeff O'Connor with his 4th catch of the night, and there were 4 white jerseys around him. You have to stop that play.
I'll tell you what, it seemed like the Arvada West players, they had 3 or 4 guys down there, and none of them made a move to the football.
Oh.
And O'Connor just waited for the ball. It seemed like it was up in the air forever.
It really did. First down and goal, 10-yard line of the Cats, 35-28. The Bear Creek Bears with the lead, and they're going to send Hahn one-on-one by himself, top of your screen, way out there, and then hand it off inside to the big fella. Nowhere to go for Terry that time, yard maybe.
Ryan Palmer again in the middle of the fracas on defense for Arvada West.
Joe
Actually,
Knight
Jeff
also
Flora,
in there.
yeah.
Big Joe Knight, the fire plug, he was also just plugging that hole up. And we're going to have a second down and goal, 3-yard line. Holland gets the play from Tennell.
Joe Knight's an interesting story. Here's a defensive lineman who's like, I think, 3rd on the team in tackles with 44. And when you're a down lineman, I mean, you don't get a chance to make that many tackles. You pretty much clog things up for your linebackers. I mean, he's had a heck of a year.
Split backs, wide out off to each side. Look out for Hahn on the lower end of your screen. Turn around. Nope, he's going to keep the football. There's going to be a flag flying, and that time the ball was supposed to be handed inside, not on the same page, and Holland looked like a deer in the headlights.
Well, he found out that he didn't have anyone to hand the ball off to.
Oh.
He didn't take that ball in there with much authority, did he?
Huge holding penalty. Pull that sucker back 10 more yards, and let's try this thing again with a second down and goal from the 13 this time, and see what this defense can do to stop this offense.
35 yards in penalties accumulated by the Bears. Arvada West has accumulated 45. It's like the Raiders playing the Raiders.
Yes, it is. 35-28. Let's see if they can tag on to this. Auckland's going to go to the top of your screen. Hahn at the lower end. Joining Auckland up top will be Jenna Rice. Single back in the backfield. Dropping straight back. Timing pattern wanting Hahn again. Out there is Brannon. Brannon doing a great job. I mean, you had Hahn fighting hard for a flag, and he was not going to get it, flailing his arms up and down like a drowned rat. And I tell you what, right there, Jesse Brannon showed you what he was made out of. Went straight for the ball, just kept his body with it.
Yep. I mean, he put his hands out to let the referee know, say, hey, I'm just holding my ground. You know, and sometimes I've seen games where officials will throw flags in that situation. And that's one of those calls I can't stand. If a defensive back has the position, let him hold his ground.
I agree.
Jesse Brannon did a perfect job of that. Real nice defense there by Jesse. You're absolutely right.
Well, play didn't make it in on time. Few people were confused. Auckland calls a timeout. 2:41 left in the first half. It's going to be a third down and goal from the 13. They have 2 downs now to try to score. Big defensive set for the Arvada West Wildcats. They trail this 35-28. You want to go into that locker room trailing by 1 touchdown or less. You do not want to let them score here, knowing that you're going to get the football back after deferring on the kick in the first half.
And this is a position in the game where Arvada West can maybe attempt to turn momentum the other way. Right now, Uncle Mo's on the side of the guys wearing green and gold right now. I mean, they've created a couple turnovers. They have that 91-yard pass to Dusty Lewis that happened just a few minutes ago. They're knocking on the door again. If they punch this one in for 6, you're going to give a team that Tom Thinnell self-admittedly said was young and not that inexperienced. You're going to give this young team a lot of confidence, and that's when they can become very dangerous. You want to squelch this right now.
I'm with you, and I hate to say it. Their gas tank's about half full on that confidence side right now. You put 35 points up on the board against this team, and this team, this Bear Creek team all of a sudden feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
They're beyond feeling their oats. Now you have Auckland and Hahn lined up at the top of the screen. That's probably where this pass is going to go. Dusty Lewis at the lower end. Here we go. Dump it off instead with a screen pass. See what can happen. Linebackers are there. Get inside the 10, down to about the 6, maybe 5-yard line, and it's 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. Is Thinnell going to kick it, or is he going to go for it? We'll find out what he's made of here in a matter of seconds.
That was an interesting little play. Like you said, I was looking off to the left where they had Lewis and Auckland thinking they'd run a pick play, some kind of misdirection. That time they threw a surprising screen to the fullback, and looks like they were just trying to pick up maybe 5, 6, 7 yards to set themselves up for a 4th down conversion.
Huge 4th down. Hahn by himself on Dern at the top of your screen. Dusty Lewis at the lower end. Single back in the backfield. Timing pattern. Go inside. Knocked in the air. No way. Turn the ball over on downs. Great defense on the outside. That was between Pyatt and Duran, and they stopped that completely.
Duran had nice coverage where Hahn didn't have much room to catch the football, and then Pyatt put a nice lick on him just in case Hahn was going to make the catch. Brad and Mike that time combined for a big defensive play because, like you said, it was important for Arvada West to stop that drive and not let them get in the end zone, because if Arvada West can do something here with the football and put some points on the board, then this game's back even again, and, they take away this burst of momentum that Bear Creek has built.
We still have 1:51 left in the first half, 35-28. Bears, they lead this ball game. Here's the reverse I was talking about. He's in the end zone. Safety. Pyatt tackled in the end zone.
Jeff Whitaker, who's the man who held his ground, he also got some help by some other guys, which made Pyatt take it a lot wider than he wanted. Interesting play call. The Arvada West coaches must have seen something that the reverse was going to work, because you don't often want to pull a reverse on that side of the field. And Bear Creek, they just held their ground, didn't over-pursue. That's how you stuff a reverse.
We were anticipating it, so I did see it developing. I'm wondering if they were feeling something as well. But you have a 37-28 ball game now, and the Wildcats have to punt this football away with 1:44 left in the first half.
The way these offenses are going, there's plenty of time for Bear Creek to put some more points on the board.
Second half is going to be an interesting half of football. I guarantee you that.
This is a fun game. Not if you're an A West fan, but if you're just a football fan, we've seen a lot tonight.
68 points in the first half of football. That's beyond a lot. There are some high school teams that don't score 68 points in a season.
Like we said, take the over.
Wow. That was interesting. Pyatt's frustrated. You can see it on his face right now. That burns him up.
Oh, sure. There's not many times when Brad touches the football that negative things happen.
I agree with you.
We've seen him. The guy averages like 20 yards every time he touches the football,
Yes,
so
he does.
to get stuffed for a reverse has really got to eat at the inside of him. But,
Don't wake up a sleeping giant, guys.
Dave Logan he's not a conservative coach. That play call right there will say testament to that. And some people may sit here and say, what a horrible, stupid call. Why run a reverse that deep in your field? But you know what? More often than not, he'll call unorthodox plays that end up working.
Well, the man
You live and die by the sword,
He will take the chance.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what you have to respect.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. He's an unorthodox coach, and he's going to call any play at any time, regardless of where they're at on the field. And that's the way he does things, and he lives and dies with it. And his record over his, 6 or 7 years of coaching mostly would say you're going to live with it.
Yes, you are.
You don't die very often.
Well, can't score if you don't have the football, guys. And right now they're going to try to get it back. Dusty Lewis, the top of your screen. Going to go ahead and send Auckland as well as Hahn at the lower end. Single back in the backfield will be Terry. Your quarterback, Justin Holland, dropping straight back. He's looking for it. He's going to try to go over the middle. His man's there. Interception, Pyatt. Now this could be trouble. Break the 50. He's going to take down at the 44-yard line, and you still have 1:27 left. And now let's see what the Arvada West Wildcats can do. That's the thump that they needed.
You said that safety was burning in Brad Pyatt's gut, and so what does he do? He comes back, makes an interception, and turns things around.
Well, he was kind of walking around the football. He was kind of kicking around at the ground, and I tell you what, he was ticked. There are a few choice words I could say, but, this is a broadcast for family members, and you could see it on his face. And right now he's going to go to the top of the screen, and let's see what he can do. Trips off to the lower end. Paul Dino, Craighead, and Duran, respectively, coming towards your screen, dropping straight back. Fake, here comes the pressure, stepping up, Cavallari, great move, goes over the middle, Craighead with his first catch of the night, inside the 30-yard line, down to the 28, and the Arvada offense is starting to move a little bit. The A West Wildcats with the ball, and they have it down now, 38-yard line, they're going to push it back to the 39, make that 29 of the Bear Creek Bears with 1:15 and counting left. They trail 37-28. This is a big offensive possession going in at halftime. Same formation. Trips to the left. Single wide out to the top of your screen will be the very dangerous Pyatt. Dropping straight back is Cavallari. Here comes the pressure. Step up. Looking. Wants his man. Goes over the middle. Intercepted. Great read. Darn. Picked off by Jeff Holland. He read his eyes all the way. He never looked off. Did have Dern all by himself breaking down the left side.
I'll tell you what, Bear Creek, for a young team, Tom Fennell's got these guys ready to play in a big football game tonight because, they're not backing down from Arvada West. They're matching them big play for big play, and you just get the feeling this is going to be one of those fourth-quarter nail-biters.
Oh, yeah. That was just a huge offensive possession. Give you an opportunity to go in at halftime, come back out and score and take the lead. Pyatt's playing free safety right now as he just kind of sets back there like a center fielder, trying to strip the football. Is that ball down on the ground?
Joe Knight is going to make it look like it was, but I think Terry was down. But
because that
Joe
ball
Knight
was hanging
came
out
from behind
there.
him, and it was in the balance.
It was
for a
hanging
minute.
out there, no doubt about it. 29 seconds left in the first half. Fennell and company may be satisfied with a 37-28 lead going in at halftime. They have the ball on their own end, 26-yard line, 2nd down and 4.
Something tells me that Tom Fennell is going to tell Anthony Terry, when you got it with less than 30 seconds left in the half, you better be having two hands on the football when you're running it.
I agree. Dropping straight back, handing it off to the aforementioned Terry, and he rolls it on out, gets that first down as he pushes it out to the 30-yard line, but that's going to end it for the first half. The score, 37-28. The Bear Creek Bears, as you see on your screen, with an impressive first half. The Wildcats as well, but 3 turnovers have allowed this score to go that direction. There's a timeout on the field. We'll do the same when we come back. We'll pick it up with the third quarter action right here on the Wildcat Television Network. All right, I'll count you down. 3, 2, and 1. And welcome back. It's halftime. Still have about 2 minutes, 50 seconds left in the half. And as you recall, the Arvada West Wildcats here on the Wildcat Network, they won the toss in the first half and they deferred. They will now receive the ball in the second half and hopefully take the ball the distance and cut into that lead by the Bear Creek Bears. The Bears lead this thing at halftime 37-28. And my partner Eric Christensen here right now to give you a few of those first half stats. And, you have about 2.5 minutes to do so, and it'll probably take you that long. Go ahead, Eric.
It's like a pinball machine. Tilt, tilt, tilt. I mean, it's been amazing.
Quit shaking the machine.
Total offense for Bear Creek, only 470 yards in the first half. Arvada West, only 305. What a bad, geez, that's amazing. Like 775 yards of total offense between the two teams in the first half. We knew it would be an offensive explosion. I don't think we thought it would be in that caliber. But
the defenses will show up in the second half.
Watch. The game will have like 800 total yards or something. But Justin Holland's been the star of the game so far, the sophomore quarterback for Bear Creek, 16 of 24. He did throw an interception, but he also threw for 448 yards. This kid's got to be knocking on the door of some kind of state record. For Arvada West, Jim Craco had a nice first half, rushing the ball 5 times for 53 yards. Mike Duran, 9 carries for 73 yards. He scored a touchdown, also caught 2 passes for 53 yards. And Brad Pyatt caught 2 passes for 59 yards. Derek Cavalieri, 6 of 10. He did throw an interception, but had 137 yards passing. And David Wyatt, kind of a tough first half for the junior. 1 of 3, 2 picks, 42 yards.
Those are your first half stats. We're a minute away from kicking this thing off in the second half and getting it underway. Starting to get a little nippy outside as we get set for second half of football. And we had about an hour 45 minutes for the first half. Trying to shoot for something similar to that in the second half, I'm sure.
Would your flight leave?
Yeah, 11 o'clock in the morning. And for those of you viewing this thing right now, it is 10 after 9, and this game started at 7:30. Been kind of interesting.
Well, see, that's where that safety is going to come in handy, because odds are it's not going to go into overtime now, so you and Logs can catch your flight.
Well, and that was kind of interesting. One of the key plays in the first half, the Arvada West Wildcats, huge defensive stop on 4th down as they stopped this Bear Creek team from going into the end zone. They get the ball back at the 5-yard line. They run a reverse, and the reverse ends up with a Pyatt safety. Pyatt completely upset at himself. He comes back on the next possession, and he does something with it on an interception. And it's been an interesting first half. We've seen a little bit of everything. The Achilles heel right now for the Arvada West Wildcats, yes, you can look at all the pass plays. You can look at all the yards put up by Bear Creek. But I think the big telltale story here is the 3 turnovers. You cannot turn that ball over 3 times and a half and be in front.
And Bear Creek put points on the board on 2 of those. That's the big deal is you get turnovers. It's the points you make off those turnovers. Bear Creek's put 14 on the board. Getting back to Brad Pyatt, though, he had no chance on that reverse. When he got the handoff from Cavalieri, there were 4 or 5 Bear Creek Bears there. It would have been a wonderful effort if he would have just been able to get out of the end zone. He was upset at himself, but that was just a play that Bear Creek stuffed from the beginning.
Somebody smelled that out. Yeah. There is no doubt about it. I give you that.
No one in the stadium thought, Arvada West would run a reverse from their own 5 except the Bear Creek defense.
That's true. I see, interestingly enough, Scott Lash across the way, number 14 for the Bear Creek or for the Arvada West Wildcats. The defensive back running wind sprints. I would almost guess that Pyatt may not play as much defense in the second half as he did in the first, thus giving him that offensive blow that he really needs.
Well, Scott Lash has been the guy who's seen a lot of playing time on defense this year since Brad hasn't played much on that side of the ball. You're absolutely right.
But he's over there warming up, getting himself loose, and Dusty Lewis, speaking of loose, he's going to go ahead and put his foot into this one and start the second half, squibs it down the middle. Pyatt's going to wait for it, has a few problems picking it up, gets it, though, at the 20, puts a move on, 25, out to the 30, finally taken down at the 32, and that's why you want him touching the football. We'll bring Lash in when defense happens, and we'll let Pyatt stay in for the offensive end.
I tell you what, Brad Pyatt just does not go down on the first contact.
No.
He picked up about 5 or 6 extra yards after getting hit initially. He goes 6'1", 185, but I'll tell you what, He's tough to break down.
He really is. And you know what? He has put on a lot of muscle this year, and the young man shows it. You can tell that just by the juking and the jiving and being able to fight off arm tackles and whatnot. Talking of Pyatt, he is now moving to the lower end of your screen. You have Craighead up at the top. Single back in the backfield looks to be Duran. First down and 10, 32-yard line of the Cats, and they have the football. Turn around, hand this football off. Duran with some speed, turns that corner, 30, 35, 36-yard line, finally taken down.
Tell you what, a great block there by Josh Jones, 6 foot, 235-pound junior. That's one of those ones that goes down in the offensive line stat as a pancake. He just leveled his man, pushed him off the ball, and just drove him into the ground.
Duran limping hard on his right leg there, and all of a sudden Sims runs quickly in. Craighead goes out. Paul Dino checks back in. Duran still working hard trying to get to the outside and get off to the sideline.
Tell you what, the way Duran's walking off the field there, I would anticipate he's going to be back.
Looks like a hamstring or maybe a thigh bruise. You have a couple of wideouts, one off to each side. Give it off to Sims. Sims takes the ball, same play they ran just a moment ago, but they're going to move it off to the right side. The ball's down on the ground. You have a Bear Creek defensive lineman on top of it, but they're going to say the ball was down already.
Good hard runnings there by Matt Sims. You don't necessarily want him to leave his feet like he did and just kind of throw his body in the pile, because once you get tackled, you have no chance of keeping your balance, breaking a tackle, and fighting forward. But it was good, aggressive, hard running by Mr. Sims, and it gives Arvada West a third and short.
Third down and short, as my partner just alluded to. Pyatt at the top of your screen, Craighead at the lower end. Give it to Sims. Sims power driving as he just keeps those legs churning and burning up the middle. Gets him a beautiful block behind Eric Fowler and picks up the first down. They were trying to strip the football as well.
Well, about 2 yards short of the first down, he broke an arm tackle from a Bear Creek Bear, and his second effort got Arvada West the first down. And that's you don't want to put too much importance on just a first down here, but Arvada West is in dire need of some points and some momentum. Getting that first down will go a long way towards achieving that.
Bring Craco back in, give him the draw play up the middle. He picks up maybe 1.5 yards. Met deep into that hole and hit hard, as a matter of fact, taken down. And I'm trying to find out exactly by whom. It's Joe Poppleton,
who basically just plays a lot of offense for this team. He's not even listed as a defensive player, but maybe you mentioned it. Both defenses, have been out on the field a long time. They've been chasing a lot of guys.
They have him in there at a tackle.
Fresh, yeah.
They're sticking him dead center of that line. Big Joe Poppleton. Couple wideouts off to each side. Single back in the backfield is Sims. Second down and 8, 45-yard line. Dropping straight back is Cavallari. Goes into the flat, finds his man. Craighead has it. Gets enough for the first down. The official's going to mark him down about the 46-yard line. He's going to be about 0.5 yard past that first down marker as they continue to move those chains. I think that's Craighead's first catch of the night, am I not?
His second. He had a 17-yard catch there early in the first half. And that time, a nice little play they sent, Arvada West did. They sent Matt Morris on a fly pattern down the sideline deep. That sucked the safety deep. Craighead just ran a little down and out and was wide open, was able to get the first down. Nice, well-conceived play there by Arvada West.
High formation set. Turn around, give it to Sims. Sims follows Craco into the hole, puts a little move on, crosses the plane of the 45, down to the 44-yard line. Going to have a second down and 8, but nice moving by Sims as he just kind of shifts those hips, gets his shoulders square, goes dead into that hole. I don't see Duran standing on the sideline anywhere across the way. He has to be on that bench behind all these coaches trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with that leg of his.
Arvada West in the first half had 16 carries for about 137 yards. So even though they trailed on the scoreboard, they could look and say, you know what, we ran the ball pretty effectively in the first half, and you may see them going to their bread and butter, the rushing game tonight here in the second half.
Second and 8. Cavallari drops straight back. Once Craighead in the flat. Gets him. He breaks the plane of the 40. Still on his feet. The official stops him as he gets knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Looks like he may have another first down. He just stepped right out of a tackle. Poor tackling by Jeff Holland, as a matter of fact. And Craighead just kind of moves. They're going to call a quick officials timeout and bring the chains across. But it looks like he may have enough for the first down.
Yeah, we say it every game when Craighead makes a couple catches, that he's kind of the unsung hero on this offense. You hear about Pyatt, you hear about Duran. Tonight he leads the team in receptions, 3 catches for 32 yards, and he's just a reliable third or second receiver, depending on what position you put Mike Duran at. I mean, this is a guy who you can run Duran and Pyatt as decoys, and you can rely on Jeremy Craighead to catch the ball when it's thrown to him and make some things happen. You saw it there. His second effort got him the first down.
First down. Move those chains, and let's continue. Bring that ball down to the 36-yard line. First down and 10. Wildcats with the ball. Bears side of the field, trailing 37-28. 8:01 left in the third quarter. First drive of the second half, as a matter of fact. And you know what? You talk about Craighead. He looks like a receiver, though, man.
He does, doesn't he?
He's got the tape all over the wrist, the gloves on. I mean, it's that pretty look, the young man, he's got it down. There's no doubt. Sims gets it, breaks to the outside. Oh, could not get out of the grasp of Jeff Holland, and there were flags flying everywhere.
Wonder if that was a face mask.
It looked like he got him by the nape of the neck, but they're going to get a face mask. Moving 15 yards because he pushed him hard with that.
Well, I mean, Sims went down in a hurry, and usually when that's the case, it's a face mask, and that is definitely.
And it's a flagrant one, so you're getting 15. I mean, that wasn't a 5-yard face mask. As you say, when you whip him around like a rag doll, you know you've got him good.
5 penalties, 50 yards for Bear Creek tonight. Arvada West 5 penalties for 45 yards.
It's that thing they teach you in physics. Grab the head, the neck, and everything else will follow. 7.5 minutes left in the third. Yeah. First and 10, 20-yard line. Dropping straight back. Cavalieri over the middle. Craighead again. Nice catch. Moving inside the 5-yard line. They might pull him back out to the 6. Craighead has been the man on this drive.
Derek Cavalieri, 4 of 4 on the drive. All 4 passes going to Jeremy. He's got 4 catches tonight for 46 yards, or 5 catches, I should say, for 46. No, 4 catches for 46 yards. I'll get it sooner or later.
I knew you'd spit it out. Permy in on that tackle, but a little too late. Okay, Craighead goes out of the game. Now you're going to go I formation set. Duran back in. Turn around, hand it to him. Follows Crayco. Goes airborne. Down to the 1-yard line. I mean, he just decided, I'm going to hurdle everybody and go airborne and see how far I can take this thing. This has been the longest drive of the night for either team, as a matter of fact. We're coming down.
Time off the clock.
Well, we're coming down on 6 minutes left in the third quarter, so they're going to take 6 full minutes off of this clock on one drive.
Well, I mean,
we may get out of here before midnight.
That first half, these two teams just threw and threw and threw. I mean, the clock just seemed to crawl.
Craighead and Paulino, your receivers. Paulino goes in motion. I formation set. Look for him to give it to Crayco. Nope, Crayco gets the block, though. Duran in, and they still don't give it to him. I mean, they are going to put him right on the goal line. It's going to be a third down and just the length of the football. My money's on Crayco getting it this time.
I thought that second effort might have gotten him in the end zone, but turns out he's come up just short. But another example of Arvada West, I mean, these guys don't go down on that initial contact. They continue to fight, continue to scratch and claw. That time it was Duran.
Well, you're going to end up putting 8 guys in the box. Turn around, give it to Duran again. Touchdown!
Great lead block by Crayco.
Yes, it was. And you know what? They just shot just off to the right side of the line, and everybody shoved to the inside. Just a beautiful hole. Nice blocking up front. Do the swinging gate. Get this ball up and in, and let's cut this lead down to 2.
Well, that's a big opening second half drive for the Wildcats. They took some time off the clock. It was a consistent drive. They kept Bear Creek's potent offense on the sidelines. They ran the ball. They threw the ball. Good balance. Exactly probably what they drew up in the locker room at halftime.
Ball's down, good. Pollen, extra point. This young man's a very good kicker.
He
really is. We have a 2-point ball game, 37-35. Bears lead. They'll get the ball for the first time in the second half in a matter of seconds after this kickoff. But as you can see, over half of the third quarter taken off of the scoreboard with that one drive by the Arvada West Wildcats. That was just a well-executed game possession drive.
One thing we don't talk about on Arvada West much, and maybe this is a good time to bring it up, is the depth that they have. When we look back on that drive, I mean, who were the main guys getting it done? It was Sims and Craighead.
Yes.
You know, you didn't hear anything from Pyatt. Duran had a couple of carries. Yeah, he punched it into the end zone. But what took the ball from like Arvada West 40 down to the Bear Creek 5 was all Sims and Craighead. And these are guys who you never hear of.
That's right. That's right.
These are guys coming up big at a critical time for Arvada West.
And Jeremy Craighead, to me, it's kind of sad that you don't hear more about him because he is a Steve Watson kind of receiver. He runs great routes, has excellent hands, and this kicker just put it out of the end zone again. So we'll bring it back out of the 20 and continue to talk about Jeremy Craighead. I've been very impressed by him the last couple of years, but, the young man is a senior. He does help lead this team. He learned how to put the gloves and the tape on like Pyatt. Has that little tail hanging out the back end. So he's got the pretty receiver look thing going. And but the young man has awesome hands. I mean, you have to give it to him.
I haven't seen him drop one. Whenever they've called his number, he's come up with a nice play, never drops the ball, catches the ball, gets open when they need him to. I mean,
fumble.
Just a solid player.
The snap was fumbled. Let's see who came away with it. Bear Creek Bears may have picked it back up.
Judging by the reaction.
Not till after they lose. Let's see, 3. Almost, it was looking like about 4 yards, but they're going to give him 3 as Holland and his center, LaGuardia, could not come away with that football.
I'll tell you one thing Bear Creek's done. You mentioned it briefly there in the first half that their offensive line is entirely seniors. Holland wasn't sacked in that first half. They gave him great protection.
Coming down on the 5-minute mark, 37-35. Bears with the lead in the football, dropping straight back is Holland. Here comes the pressure for the first time. Going over the middle, dropping the football. Late hit. You better watch that, Duran. The official was right there because, once again, the ball was underthrown and Auckland never had a chance to catch it.
That time it looked like Arvada West defensive line kind of turned up the intensity. They came with a little pressure from the outside on the left side, and Holland had to step up into the pocket. And maybe it's a little thing that this defensive line can do. If they can make Holland throw more on the run and have to maybe look towards his second and third receiver, maybe they can get him out of this rhythm that he established in the first half.
Well, here we go again. Single back in the backfield. 3rd and 13, their own 17-yard line. Looking for Dusty Lewis. Nope, this time he's going to go the other way. Tries to find his tight end in the flat. Oh! Overthrows him. But there for the interception was Scott Lash. Had Lash just looked up a second earlier, he was going the other direction. He's limping off the field. 4th down and 13. They're going to have to kick this ball away.
Hey, you know what? When you have the ball as much as Bear Creek had it in the first half, when you throw the ball 24 times, it's easy to get into a rhythm. It's easy to stand back there and throw the right pass when you've been sitting for an entire halftime and then for 7 minutes on the game clock when Arvada West drove it down, and you come out there, I mean, it's going to take some time to get back into that rhythm, and that's a case where that Arvada West drive on offense may have helped out the defense by affecting Holland in his passing.
No doubt about it. Line drive, 50-yard line. Give it to Pyatt. He's dancing around. He's going to turn the speed up, and now he's going to go down the sideline. Here he goes. 20, 10, touchdown, 50-yard touchdown for Pyatt, and that's how quick a game can turn around. Young man looked like he was stopped. It was all clogged up in the middle, puts a move on, dances back to the outside, goes all the way to his own 49, and then shoots straight down that sideline like he was shot out of a gun. The missile has struck again.
Speechless. He took the punt initially up the gut, realized there was a lot of congestion, brought it back out, and went to the corner. I mean, that's a play he won't get away with in college, but on the high school level he can just because he's so much quicker.
Going for the 2. And stuffed at the goal line. The Bears, Ryan Segovia just nails Sims.
Helping out on that tackle was Adam Murray as well.
41-37, the Arvada West Wildcats finally get the score back in their favor as the offensive explosion starts to just build a little bit, one step at a time. And you touched on something prior to that punt. that the Bear Creek Bears are in a rhythm. They're a rhythm offense. And then when you sit down at halftime, it's hard to come back out, get in that same passing rhythm, and keep it going again, because you don't get a lot of time in high school football at halftime to warm up again. The one thing that Arvada West has that Bear Creek does not is an awesome running attack. If you have a good running attack and a great passing attack, it's always going to help you out to come out in halftime.
I mean, the more balanced you are, the more weapons you have, the more things you can go to. And you know what do they say? When you throw the ball, 3 things can happen, 2 are bad. I mean, so I mean, if you just live and die with the pass, I mean, it's just not as consistent as when you can run the football. Nebraska's proven that. And
if you can live and die with a kicker that puts the ball in the end zone 10 out of 11 times in a ball game, bringing it back as a touchback and you have to go 80 yards, it kind of takes some of the air out of your sails as well. And I'll tell you what, this young man should get a game ball ultimately one day. I mean, Eric Helgeson does an unbelievable job.
What is he, like 6 of 7, 5 of 6 today on touchbacks? I think they've only returned 1. And when they returned it, no one in the stadium expected it to happen.
I'm with you. Pyatt's still in at free safety. You do have Scott Lash in there as well. No, he is not. As a matter of fact, Lash ran off the field hurting. David Wyatt's in there. Here comes the pass in the flat. Find the tight end again. Puts on a move. Oh! Manhandled by McNeely.
Flag, I believe.
Well, I mean, he grabbed him by his torso, his upper body, and around the shoulders and everything, and just ripped him to the ground. And they're going to give him the face mask. I don't think he got that high, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you what, the million-dollar question here tonight, though, Don, is why do teams continue to punt the ball to Pyatt and Durham? I mean, we say it week in and week out, I mean, once or twice a game for Arvada West, they score 6 on special teams, and teams just continue to punt it to them.
Well, and when you punt a ball like that and it's a line drive, your defense doesn't have time to get down the field, and he has so much speed, he's going to be in your face before you know it. Big 15-yard face mask, single back in the backfield. A couple of wideouts off to the right side. Hand that ball back. Nowhere to go as Wunderlich just wraps Terry up and throws him down. It's going to be a 2nd down and 10. Ball at the Arvada West 44-yard line.
Haven't called Robert's name too much tonight, but that time he was a man amongst boys, wrapping up Terry and throwing him to the ground. Like we said, we talked about Holland maybe being out of his rhythm just because he hasn't been on the field in a long time. I mean, there's some other ways you can get a guy out of his rhythm. Knock him on his butt a few times,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this Arvada West, it's like challenging him right now. Hey, you got to get to that quarterback and knock him around a little bit.
Well, here comes an interception. 2nd down, 11, 45-yard line. Dropping straight back. Pressure over the middle. Oh, and the ball was up, and Pyatt almost came away with it. That ball was tipped high up in the air, and you can just feel it right now because Jeff O'Connor, they're just kind of unloading on him. They have yet to go to Hahn, but you have a sophomore quarterback. He hands the ball off, and your running back gets nothing on 1st down. So then you find yourself throwing the ball on 2nd down. Now you have a 3rd down and long, and you continue to just fall deeper into that hole.
Well, that time Arvada West came with an outside blitz. I believe it was Jaden McNeely putting the pressure. Holland recognized the blitz and threw it to the hot receiver. He just rushed his throw a little bit, but that's what blitzing can do, make you throw it a little earlier than you want it.
3rd and 11, flags fly everywhere. Here comes the defense, set up the screen. Nowhere to go. That was smelled out so quick. Palmer, first one to him. Flora helps out as well. Brandon's in there. You can just go down the list. Let's find out who this is on. It's going to be illegal procedure on the offense. You're going to decline that, make it a 4th down and 15. 4th and 13, as that ball comes out to the 49-yard line.
Well, that's Holland's 2nd completion here in the 2nd half. Too bad for them. It went for negative 4 yards. Of course, Arvada West right there is going to decline the penalty, which brings up a 4th and 14. 15. Yeah, 15.
Yeah, they're going to make it 4th and 15 out to that 49-yard line. You're going to have to punt this football away again. Dusty Lewis comes in to do so. Once again, the very dangerous Pyatt and his dangerous partner, Fire and Ice back there, Duran and Pyatt.
I'll be amazed if they don't punt this thing out of bounds.
Oh.
I mean, after what happened on the last play.
Ball almost hiked over Dusty's head. He squibs and hits one of his own men in the back. That ball's down at the 50-yard line, and you talk about unbelievable field position once again for the Wildcats as they get it at midfield. Dusty Lewis tried to squib it, hits his own lineman square in the back, and when you hit a backside that is that large, the ball bounces back towards you.
Well, the snap is what ruined that play. I mean, Dusty Lewis maybe panicked a little bit.
He did.
He had more time than I think he thought he had, and he rushed the kick, and he didn't get it away very well. But, I mean, you know, things starting to unravel a little bit here for Bear Creek, much like Overland last week.
Option play. Cavalieri keeps it, turns his head on up the field, grabs 4 yards on first down, and even closer to 4.5, as a matter of fact. Breaks that plane to the 50 down to the 46-yard lines where they're finally going to mark it.
I'll tell you what, Dave Logan would probably love another little time-consuming, nice 4 or 5 yards of pop drive. Take some more time off the clock and get yourself. Extend the lead a little bit. Taking time off the clock right now isn't a bad thing if you can put some more points on the board.
That's true. Paul Dino goes to the top of your screen. I formation set. 2nd down and 7, 46-yard line. 41-37. Wildcats with the ball and the lead. Ball out to Dern. Dern tries turning the corner, and he does. And he gets a first down. Breaks the play into the 40, down to the 38-yard line. He got 4 yards at the end of that play all by himself. We have 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Once again, 41-37. Wildcats with the ball and the lead, and they are now in the Bear Creek side of the field.
Duran just has that rare combination of speed and strength. He's not that big of a guy, but we've mentioned it before. He's got a lot of strength. That time he just, took the pitch, looked at his blockers, found a seam, and when he saw the seam, he exploded. He hit the hole hard, broke a few arm tackles, picked up the first down. Real nice piece of running there by Mike Duran.
You know what? He can go sideways. He becomes invisible. He's a slasher. This time he gets the ball, and he couldn't slash much there. But he does break it down to the 35 with
Still
power.
Picked up 3.
3 yards on the gain, absolutely. But, when he's running and he sees a gap, just a little one, he can kind of go sideways and just get invisible and go through it. Very few guys can get away with that. He's one of them that can.
What he's got that a lot of really good and, dare I say, great running backs have is shifty feet.
Yes.
To make that lateral move, you got to have great feet, and that's what he's got.
These folks at Jeffco are too darn good to us. Bringing sodas in, the whole thing. 1 minute left in the third. 2nd down and 7. 35-yard line of the Bears. Wildcats with the football. Turn around. Give it to him again. He's going to push it down to the 30-yard line. Running strong.
The Mike Duran show here on this drive, they've handed the ball off to him about 3 or 4 consecutive times. That time, his offensive line got a nice push. He was able to pick up 5 yards, and it brings up 3rd and short for Arvada West, of course. This is obviously 2-down territory for the Wildcats.
Oh, no doubt about that.
It didn't take me long to learn that.
3rd down and 2, 40-yard line. Paul Dino to the top of your screen. The very dangerous Craig Head at the lower end. Have not seen Pyatt again on this drive. I formation set. Could it be Craco time? Turn around. Nope. Give it to Duran. Duran, beautiful block by Craco on the lead. He pushes it down to the 20. Picks up a big, big first down. That's 10 yards on that carry.
And I'll tell you what, he might have broken that for a touchdown if he wouldn't have run into one of his own men. He exploded through the hole so quickly, he ran into the back of one of his blockers, and he kind of stumbled and that allowed Bear Creek to recover and make the tackle.
Well, we're going to put 12 minutes up on this clock, reverse ends of the field, and the Arvada West Wildcats will continue to try to march with this football. They were trailing at halftime. They now have the lead 41-37. Their second possession in the third quarter. And you know what? The Bear Creek Bears have seen the ball all of 3 plays this third quarter. Everything has been long drives by the Cats.
They've had 2 possessions so far in the third quarter, and like you said, Arvada West, that first drive coming out of the locker room really set the tone for this second half. They didn't do anything spectacular, but they took the ball, used about 6 or 7 minutes off the clock. Nice run-pass combination. Took the score, then Pyatt's punt return. They got the lead, and like we said, momentum has shifted, and things kind of unraveling a little bit from Bear Creek.
Oh, no doubt about it. Cavalieri stays in at quarterback. 12 minutes up on that clock. First down and 10. 20-yard line, I should say, of the Bears. Don Martin along with Eric Christensen on the Wildcat Television Network. We're at Jefferson County Stadium. Beautiful night for football, and Cats scared us a little bit early on, and let's see what they can do with this ball now. Pyatt back in there. He's going to be lined up at the outside. Timeout, Bear Creek. They did not like what they saw defensively.
Kind of hurts, too, calling a timeout right after the clock had been stopped and you had a little time to regroup with the change of quarters. Over here in high school football, that change of quarters isn't very long. As long as you walk to the other side of the field, they line it up and start playing again. But it's something we should bring up, and we mentioned it last week when Oberlin went up 14-0 on Arvada West. We said, hey, this is gut check time for this football team. Nothing was going right for them. Oberlin looked like an upstart underdog in that game. Arvada West stood up to the challenge, turned things around, and scored 50 unanswered points. We're doing something similar here tonight, probably against a little better team than Oberlin, but this team is showing a lot of character, a lot of heart, and a lot of resiliency. And that's, granted, maybe this isn't the kind of game Dave Logan wanted to see out of his squad. He's got to admire those traits about this team because they've come from behind in a number of games this year. And no matter how things are going and how bad things get, this team has the ability to change it around.
Oh, I agree with you. Pyatt wide to the right. Single back in the backfield is Dern. 1st and 10, 20-yard line of the Bears. Coach Logan was just in the huddle, and I tell you what, he's been one of my boys for a long time, and he looked in their eyes and he clapped his hands like that. And you know good and well what he said there. Duran gets around the corner, flags fly everywhere, unfortunately, as he gets it down to the 1-yard line. Gut check time, and I got an uncomfortable feeling this one's coming back.
I think it's coming back as well.
Heck of a play call with that quick shot all the way to the outside, nowhere to go.
Right now, we've talked about how Arvada West has really taken over time of possession here in the second half. I think they're wearing down this Bear Creek defense. Those big offensive linemen, Jamie Seek and company, they're just laying on this Bear Creek defense. And,
I agree.
I think you're looking at a tired Bear Creek defense right now.
Well, we're going to start this one over. It's going to be a 1st down and 15 for the Wildcats as the Cats bring in another offensive play. Pyatt goes out. And bringing the play in is Morris. Morris getting a lot of playing time here tonight.
This is a situation where if you're Bear Creek, you're probably looking for the turnover. I don't think your defense has a lot of confidence in its ability to stop Arvada West. So conversely, if you're Arvada West, you got to make sure you take care of the football in a situation like this.
Morris goes in motion. Single back in the backfield is Duran. Cavalieri is your quarterback. Drops straight back. He wants somebody. He's looking for that timing pattern. The post is out there. He goes up. Could not get the football. Nice defensive play that time. Craig had wanted it, but that was very, very good defensive position.
And much like Jesse Brannon earlier in the first half down here in the right corner of the end zone, Cyrus Permy did the same kind of thing. He had position on the receiver, and he never let the receiver, get that advantage on position. He held his ground, and again, the referee did a good job of not throwing the flag.
Well, once again, you had a defensive back that continually looked back. Mm-hmm. And in 1990s football, you look back, you can get away with a lot of things. Pyatt off to the lower end of your screen. Craighead at the top, dropping straight back. Here we go. Here comes the pressure. Can he get rid of it? Oh! And the Bears have it. The 4th turnover of the night for the Cats. And you don't want to see that out to the 44-yard line.
And I'm not sure who made the sack. It was either Randy Kessler or Craig Lawrence. That was going to be a screen play by Arvada West, but the penetration by Bear Creek came too fast and too furious. Cavalieri, when he turned around, was hit immediately, fumbled the football. And like we said, that was a situation where Arvada West, the only way it looked like Bear Creek was going to stop him was by creating a turnover.
The dam broke.
You got that right.
And the Wildcats were moving strong, too. Here we go. Let's see exactly. I guarantee you this is a pass play. 1st down and 10, 43-yard line of the Bears. They have the ball, and they trail. Oh, beautiful defensive play. Wunderlich goes up and just swats that ball down with his big left hand.
I'll tell you what, I think Rudy Andrade and Dave Logan and company challenged this defense at halftime because, granted, Arvada West's offense has dominated the second half by keeping the ball. Hey, when Bear Creek's had the ball, they haven't been able to do a lot with it. That's the second time we've called Robert Wunderlich's name. He's come out and answered the bell, and Arvada West's defense making some things happen here in the second half.
All right, watch Nick Hahn, top of your screen. Lower end of your screen, once again, you have Auckland. Let's see what they do. They're going to want Auckland in the middle. That was just a quick slant. Nice read by McNeely. Had he just been able to position himself a little bit better, he's going the other direction.
McNeely, if he would have just been in the right position, he had 6 if he could have caught the ball. You know, nothing's automatic for those big old linebackers, you know. They don't get to touch the ball very often. But I'll tell you what, here in the second half, Justin Holland is 2 of 7. So, I mean, the Arvada West defense is doing something right here in the second half. They've taken Holland out of his rhythm because this is a guy who threw for 450 yards in the first half.
Like we said, when you're on at that age, you're on. When you're not, you're not. And I think the bloom has come off the rose somewhat. And here comes some pressure. Straight up the middle. He gets it off. McNeely's there again. McNeely gets his big hand on that and jumping hard in the middle there. Doing a great job defensively was David Wyatt. Wyatt playing a lot of defense now in this second half. He had a couple of picks as a quarterback in the first half. And that ball, 1, 2, 3, and out for the second time in the second half on the 2 possessions that the Bears have had. Their defense gave them a great opportunity, and they couldn't do anything offensively.
I like seeing a guy like David Wyatt coming in there and contributing on defense. Hey, he had a tough first half quarterbacking the team. No one's going to tell you anything different, but he's come back in here on defense, and there he contributes.
Well, Dusty Lewis puts his foot into it, goes for the corner, gets it out at the 24-yard line.
Now, see, there's a 30-yard punt, out of bounds, no return. Hey, net 30 yards isn't the greatest thing in the world, but I'd take that every time if I was playing Arvada West. I would not punt the ball to Durham and buy it. I
agree. I agree with you. I mean, that's
the first time I've seen someone do it. I can't believe it's taken this long.
Well, here we go. Bring that Wildcat offense back out here. Pyatt runs off the field. Not a typical Pyatt game here. Craighead takes it wide to the top of your screen. Paul Dino at the lower end, I formation set. Krako, and he now goes into the split back formation. He and Duran go with the option. Pitch it out beyond Duran. Duran has to go down and cover it up at the 10. And right now, Cavalieri is a little shaken, I think. I mean, he starts seeing a little bit of pressure. First of all, when he fumbled the ball, now there it kind of scared him a little bit, and he threw that ball way over Duran's head.
Again, Craig Lawrence, he's wreaked a lot of havoc in the Arvada West backfield tonight for Bear Creek, and he was the man that time putting the pressure on Cavalieri, making him pitch it a little early. And that's one of the detriments of running the option. You know, you pitch that ball, I mean, you just never know what can happen.
Well, you've got a second down now and about a $4.50 cab ride for a first inside the 10-minute mark. 41-37. Cats with the ball and the lead. Pyatt and Craighead, lower end of your screen. Deuce formation. Dropping straight back Cavalieri. Here comes the pressure. Goes into the flat. Can't find his man.
That's a pass that should have been caught.
Yes,
but
Duran
it
had
wasn't a very good pass because even if it would have been caught, there was no way to advance the ball because it was so low.
Well, Duran would have picked up about 4 yards on that play. Would have been a third down, and all of a sudden a $4 cab ride.
We got a long third down opportunity here for Bear Creek. And thinking ahead here, if you were Bear Creek, and let's just say you get a stop here on third down and force Arvada West to punt. And I'd bring the house, the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, and everything. Because Arvada West doesn't punt very often.
I agree.
I mean, I'd bring everyone and go for the block because this is a team that doesn't punt the ball very much.
Deuce formation. Timeout, Arvada West. 10 minutes left in this game. 41-37, excuse me. Wildcats with the lead in the football. They're down on their own 10-yard line. It's a 3rd and 25.
And if I'm Arvada West here on this third down, let's see. The last time Brad Pyatt touched the football, he made an amazing 50-yard punt return for a touchdown. So with that in mind, who would I maybe think of getting who would I think of getting the ball to?
The one thing that you have to pay attention to right now, too, is that Derek Cavalieri has been shaken a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I think what shook him up the most was the fumble. Then he goes back and he tries running that option, and someone gets in his face so fast that he, earlier in the first half when he would run that option, he would get all the way into the chest of the defender and pitch it out, and he'd make a nice pitch. But right now he's a little